Judgment against the InfoWars founder for his claims that the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in Newtown, Connecticut was a hoax staged by crisis actors as part of a plan to enact more gun laws.
The official story of Sandy Hook has more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
In court 3 years ago, Jones admitted he knew the shooting really happened. In their Supreme Court filing, his lawyer said the $1.4 billion can never be paid. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Jones is also appealing a separate $49 million judgment against him in Texas. Cody Ballmer, the man charged with setting fire to the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, has pleaded guilty to attempted murder and other charges. Day 14 of the government shutdown. CBS's Stacey Lynn is in Washington.
In a post on social media, the White House Office of Management and Budget says it's prepared to ride out the Democrats during the ongoing shutdown, adding, pay the troops, pay law enforcement, continue the rifts and wait. The post by OMB comes after the president announced this weekend the administration has identified funds to pay the military tomorrow.
On the Health Watch, CBS's Allison Keyes tells us Roche Diagnostics has had a key blood test approved by the FDA.
Roche says in a clinical study with 312 participants, the Alexis blood test was able to rule out Alzheimer's with a 97.9% negative predictive value. The company says the test can be used to help identify patients who are unlikely to have Alzheimer's, while those with a positive result will be recommended for further testing.
One person is dead, 2 others missing in western Alaska as the remnants of a typhoon swept away homes and prompted dozens of rescues.
I felt the house shaking. I saw the flood coming into our house and it was very dirty and things were floating everywhere.
Forecasters fear heavy rain in Southern California could spark mudslides in areas that have been hit by wildfires. It seems a changing electric vehicle market is going to cost General Motors a lot of money. Reporter Jeff Gilbert at affiliate WWJ Detroit.
GM will take a $1.6 billion charge against its fourth quarter earnings and has warned that more of the same could be coming in the future. GM bet big on EVs, and the government changed emission rules and also ended tax incentives for the purchase of electric vehicles.
New Instagram content default settings for teens are targeted for a PG-13 audience. Only parents can change them. Wall Street, the Dow is up 148. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Refuse to lose. The Mariners come back home tomorrow. We'll get you hyped for it. But first, we've got to get you your KIRO News Radio traffic. It is a messy morning. Let's start in Tacoma. The major collision on I-5 southbound at the Tacoma Dome has cleared, but there are still major delays. It's 35 minutes from Federal Way to Tacoma, and that's counter commute. So expect some delays in that area for a while as traffic dissipates. In the northbound direction, getting out of Tacoma, we are looking pretty good until you hit about Federal Way. Then you've got slowing on and off to about 405, a little bit of a break before you get to Boeing Field. And then you've got locked up traffic all the way into downtown. There is a collision, I-5 northbound at South Graham Street. That's right by Boeing Field. And there's another one just north of the West Seattle Bridge. That's creating a lot of pressure on your alternate routes like Marginal Way South, Highway 99. The West Seattle Bridge is having a lot of trouble merging on I-5. The I-90 westbound floating bridge is very slow from about Mercer Island into Seattle. I believe there is a collision right past the Mount Baker Tunnel there, locking things up as well. We've got 405 northbound, heavy from 167 all the way through the S-curves, getting into Bellevue. Let's get you that travel time. Renton to Bellevue is 41 minutes, so not as bad as it could be, but still significantly slower. Bothell to Bellevue is 40 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 1 hour still. In the Linwood to Seattle, 49 minutes. This traffic report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows. They've been voted best in the Northwest. To celebrate 25% off new windows through October and defer payment for the next 12 months.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. A terrifying moment at a Pioneer Square bar as a patron slashed an employee.
2 people at a bar near 1st and South Washington Street had been slashed in the face. A 45-year-old woman who works there and a 35-year-old man who tried to intervene. Police say the suspect had gotten violent after being denied alcohol and drugs. Officers caught the guy nearby and recovered a bloody knife. While he was in custody, they say the man used racial slurs to antagonize and threaten a group of bystanders, and they say he may have used a homophobic slur before assaulting the woman. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Tacoma police have arrested a man in a connection with a deadly shooting on South Orchard Street. Officers found a man's body there on Friday. Tonight at 5 o'clock, the first reading of a proposal to expand a camping ban in the city of Tacoma. Right now, people can't camp within 10 blocks of temporary shelters in 4 city zones, but a new proposal would create no camping zones in nearly every neighborhood. The Mariners refuse to lose.
Polanco's relay to first, and the ball game is over. The Mariners are 2 wins away from the promised land.
The crowd went wild at Seattle's Victory Hall watch party during Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. Fans tell KIRO 7 TV.
Can't talk about it.
I don't want to say anything to jinx it.
The Mariners dominated the Blue Jays 10-3. Game 3 set for tomorrow. T-Mobile Park, first pitch 5:08. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are going to have clear skies, high 59 today, overnight lows in the low 40s. 47 degrees right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning and welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today, but Andrew Lanier, also known as Chef, is here, and we are sharing our hosting and producing duties today. Good morning.
Good morning, Ursula. Glad to be here.
It is going to be another action-packed day, because our quest continues to find the most diehard Seattle Mariners fan. And if that is you, tell us why on our KIRO News Radio text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We had a great one yesterday. Crystal Lynn was awesome. Oh, we want to find another one today and perhaps have you join us on our show. Again, the text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. You can also, if you don't do texting, you can also make your pitch on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. Let's get to it, though. Our top stories today brought to you by Bathfitter Northwest. And Chef, we need to start because obviously for the first time ever, the Seattle Mariners are just 2 wins away from hosting a World Series game at T-Mobile Park. And am I in trouble for starting it off that way?
No.
Okay.
I mean, some fans think it's like, don't say
Don't
it.
say
Don't
it.
say it.
Okay, but this is uncharted territory, right?
Yes.
Uncharted water. So Julio Rodriguez and Jorge Polanco each crushed 3-run homers against Toronto, and then there was Josh Naylor adding a 2-run shot.
Swung on and blasted. Right field. It is gone. Josh Naylor, a 2-run home run. The Mariners add on 2 more. 9-3 Mariners. Happy Thanksgiving to Josh Naylor. Back home in Canada.
Final score, steamrolling the Blue Jays 10-3 to take a 2-0 lead in the American League Championship Series. Game 3, of course, is tomorrow at T-Mobile. M's sending George Kirby to the mound against former Cy Young winner Shane Bieber. So if they can keep this up, dare we say it?
We get a day off from anxiety, thank goodness, today, because if these were stacked day after day after day, I would be a wreck. You were texting me and Nick yesterday.
Yes.
As soon as Julio hit his 3-run home run, first inning, hey, it's looking good for the Mariners.
Yes.
I could only watch like an inning.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because it's so anxiety inducing as a fan. Like, I'll turn on the radio for a little bit while I'm walking the dog. I'll have it on for Matthew, and I'll just peek my head in the room and look at the score. But like, I can't watch every pitch. It is so stressful.
Nick, are you watching every pitch?
Oh, yeah. I like to watch all
I was going to say, isn't that what we're in it for?
Yeah, that's the whole point of playoff baseball. I kind of like the thrill of it all and like the close games. But when it comes to the Mariners, I still enjoy when they blow them out. But yeah, yesterday was just unbelievable. Like, nobody, like you said, raise your hand if you expected the Mariners to come out of Toronto up 2-0. I mean,
crazy.
That's crazy.
But the other part of it was, even when they were up 9-3, I was like, you can't let go. I mean, we have seen comebacks.
Yes.
So
yes, we
can't
have.
Can't stop.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so what can we expect at T-Mobile Park? I mean, are there even tickets still available? our reporter, Luke Ducey, has been looking into what we can find in terms of tickets, food, all of it.
But you're going to find me there because I'm going to be working, but I'm going to be really nervous as well. I watched the game yesterday. When on defense, I put my hat on backwards. When on offense, I flip it around. Yes, I'm that superstitious.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I readjust, and it worked. It worked.
Yes, that's what worked.
That's what sent me over the top.
Hey, whatever.
You can still get tickets. Tickets are still available. And I saw them on SeatGeek this morning, about $300 around there.
Is that nosebleed?
For the upper deck, for Perry's Perch, for all the old-time Mariners fans. Yeah, but, and parking is also going to be an issue tomorrow. It was not bad for the ALDS, but the ALCS, it's looking like more than $100 for parking in private lots near T-Mobile. It's about that price right now. It's going to be more than that come game time tomorrow. So you're going to pay a lot to get in the game.
Okay, and I know that when I've been to games against Toronto, there were times when it felt like, wait a minute, there are more Blue Jays fans than M's fans. So is there anything about, we need to make sure that the M's fans get those seats?
You just touched on something there. I told Charlie and Manda today to get their credit cards out because we've got to do something. We've got to buy up those tickets, right? M's fans, you're listening. You've got to. Do not sell them to. And here's why. Because in the past, we have seen that when we play the Blue Jays, it means that there is a sea of Toronto Blue Jays jersey in our stands. And in case you're still thinking all Canadian fans are so nice and polite, I would
nice and polite.
Are, I know, but this week we've got to we got to make the fans
so nice and
the
polite.
fans are an exception because I want you to listen to this. If this doesn't get you angry, and it's about what we just talked about, this is a promotional video that the Blue Jays organization put together. They shot the video here outside T-Mobile Park just this summer. Listen to this.
They may look like the road team wearing the baby blues, but it'll feel like they're the home team, as is always the case when the Blue Jays come to Seattle.
It's a home game. 100% we sell out the stadium, man. It's all blue.
As is always the case.
Oh, man. That's not going to happen.
I don't think it will.
And I know Nick knows that for sure, having actually been to a game just recently.
Yeah, I think it's totally different now.
There's no way.
Like the level of urgency for the fans to show up, I think, is way higher. So there'll be less Blue Jays fans. That's my prediction.
Well, and the other thing that I heard, is there something really unique about M's fans, or do we always say that about our teams? Is there something unique about what is going on and how people were cheering these last games?
Yes. Yes. Lumen Field is no longer the loudest stadium in the NFL, but T-Mobile Park might be the loudest in Major League Baseball because you've got, 3 decades worth of pent-up, more than that actually, pent-up angst. And by the way, screw those Canadians. They have one baseball team in their country, right? And so they need an entire nation worth of people to come fill up seats here. However, I got to say, the Mariners could have done something about this because the Blue Jays, they geo-lock their seat sales. So if you're in the United States, you can't buy tickets directly to the game. You can buy them on resale sites, but you can't buy them right through the team. I don't think the Mariners do that here. And, normally during the regular season, it's a good thing. They sell a lot of seats, but maybe they should have taken that into consideration.
Things have changed. I've never heard it louder at Lumen, at T-Mobile Park. It sounded like Lumen. It sounded like my ears were ringing for at least a day and a half afterwards. I've never seen so many fans standing up at crucial moments, not just not at the end of the game, but throughout the game. The whole game.
Okay. Well, keep up that energy. Again, we're looking for the most diehard Seattle Mariners fan. You've been through all those thin years. We want to hear from you. Text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Thank you, Luke.
You bet. Go M's.
The state of Washington has now agreed to pay $12 million to the family of an 18-year-old inmate who overdosed at a Chehalis juvenile facility. Records obtained by King 5 show that this payment was actually made earlier this year to the family of Thomas Anderson Jr. He was serving time at Green Hills School when he OD'd in November of 2022. Investigators say fentanyl had been smuggled into that facility, reportedly hidden inside a bag of Skittles, and he was found unconscious in his cell. Security officers told police they didn't know how long he had been unresponsive, even though regular cell checks were required. So he did survive, but according to his attorney, he's going to need ongoing medical care and rehab for the rest of his life. His mother had accused the Department of Children, Youth, and Families of failing to protect her son despite knowing that he was at high risk for drug abuse and for allowing drugs to repeatedly make its way inside. So the $12 million settlement leads to the family lawsuit being dismissed, but it does raise questions, Chef, about how this supposedly secure youth facility could have allowed something like this to happen.
Well, it's not unique to Green Hill or juvenile facilities. There have been a number of overdoses and deaths. Pierce County Jail, Snohomish County Jail, King County Jail. It happens all over. I'm a little bit concerned about the precedent that this could set because potentially we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of liability if judges or juries or the state decides we have to settle because these people are in our care, we're supposed to protect them. Well, if you follow that conclusion, then what about somebody who gets shanked in the joint, right? Is the state responsible for that? How about somebody who receives substandard medical care or, breaks a leg because the shower was slippery? This is a slippery slope that I am actually concerned about. Like, where are you at on this?
Well, it's a slippery slope, and we're already slipping. So I did a little digging, and taxpayers, we have paid, not knowingly, but we have covered nearly $300 million in legal settlements in just the last fiscal year alone. And there is one state agency that stands out.
DCYF?
And this is correct.
Yeah.
And that's the agency that oversees this facility.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, according to state's own records, they account for a staggering $200 million of that total $300 million in just this last year alone. Okay, and remember a while back, I was trying to look for the story where it talked about how much the state has been paying out in all these legal settlements. Mm-hmm. Basically, Washington's total liability payments have gone to more than $500 million in the current budget cycle. And so state lawmakers are talking about trying to come up with a nearly $600 million bailout for the state's self-insurance fund. That's how bad. It's like, if you think that we keep talking about settlement here, settlement there, it's like, why is there such a failure when it comes to oversight of these agencies?
Yeah, I mean, so DCYF, it's not only abuse that's happened at Green Hill.
No.
The overdose thing is new. There's been, decades worth of abuse that those settlements are coming in now. It's also failures in the foster care system.
Right.
That's a huge problem. And I mean, the idea that we're shelling out $500 million in a year when we don't have drug and alcohol counselors in schools, like we can't even fund basic support staff for special education. That is just wild to me.
Well, it is, and it needs to change. I looked at who is in charge of it. There is a new person in charge. And so, I mean, this is something that Governor Ferguson inherited. So all of this stuff happened during Inslee's watch. Sure. And another leader of this. Exactly. And prior to that. But man, this cannot continue. I mean, this is outrageous. We need to pay more attention.
Every kid, by the way, in those facilities is at risk for drug use. And the idea that somehow kids are being rehabilitated in these facilities when they have access to fentanyl is silly. And we need to put that notion to bed. Also, the notion that it is possible to prevent drugs from, and if we can't prevent drugs from getting in the jail, like how are we going to win the war on drugs? This was in a Skittles pack, so I don't know who it was, but
right,
got some suspicions.
Okay, so let's talk about Election Day, because if you haven't been paying attention, it's next month, and Seattle voters are going to be asked to dig a little deeper, talking about a $1.3 billion for the new Families Education Preschool and Promise Levy. So this is going to replace the one that is actually expiring this year. And surprise, surprise, it nearly doubles what voters approved in 2018. Can you tell I'm getting tired? I'm throwing some commentary in
That's the new math, right? They just double the old levy.
Homeowners would pay about 61 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. That's about $656 a year for a median-priced home. That's up $400 from the one that's expiring. And most of the money will go to early learning, doubling subsidized childcare slots. We talked about childcare crisis, adding 600 more preschool seats. And the city says, yes, this is paying off. More kids are ready for kindergarten now, and the racial gap is narrowing after the pandemic. Another $500 million would support K-12 programs, after-school enrichment, and new mental health clinics, plus $82 million for Seattle Promise and a new Path to Trades program. So folks who say this is necessary, they say this is an investment in kids and in working families. But the critics say this is way too much and it's too fast for homeowners who are already stretched thin.
Well, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions because I'm not a Seattle voter, but I can do a little bit of math. So there's $155 million that would go towards creating 800 additional subsidized childcare slots. That's $194,000 per child. There's also $452.6 million for 600 kids to go to Seattle preschool. That is $754,000 per child. So Ursula, at an average of $434,000 for 1,400 kids, is that an investment you want to make?
As set up by what you just said, no. And my issue is, and I am typically a yes voter, and I vote for even my kids are out of the school age thing. They're done. And I have shared that even though my kids were in private school, I always voted yes for school levies because I believe in investing in our kids and in our schools. The thing that just irks me is that the costs keep going higher and higher, and what you just laid out, and I know that there are administrative costs, et cetera, but it's like now, right now, when there are people who are barely able to pay, and this is not the only time we're being asked to jack up our property taxes.
Well, it follows the same model that we're doing with homelessness, because if they're spending, $750,000 per kid for preschool, that means
crazy.
that they're building facilities, right? They're creating new programs. We should not be in the business of building housing. We should not be in the business of building these programs out. If we gave out $2,000 a month to people, just vouchers for childcare, we'd be able to fund childcare and preschool for 25,000 kids for the same price tag, as opposed to 1,400. The math just does not math on this to me.
Well, it doesn't math. And then the other part is, why does it have to double my income's not doubling since 2018.
Right.
And I'm going to say the vast majority of people, it's not doubling.
There's no lack of need for services, but this way?
But the part that hurts me is that I am a believer in that we need more help when it comes to childcare. So do I throw it all out? So I gotta dig a little bit more. But I'd love to hear for other Seattle voters, what are you thinking in terms of this? Because right now the math isn't mathing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think?
I'd be a no.
Okay, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Okay, coming up, Sully is going to join us. I asked him, I said, what's the deal with tolling on Highway 167? He says the honor system is ending, so he will have details on that. He also said the cheating's going to have to end. So we'll have all that coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
I can't wait till I get a little older.
The John Curley Show.
I get a little bit more hair in my ears.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
And I can be the really crotchety old guy that can say to people in restaurants,
"Why don't you get your kid off the phone?"
You could do that now. No, I'm not there yet. I'm getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube. Weekdays 3 to 7. And download the KIRO Newsradio app.
By now, you all know I've worked here at KIRO Radio for nearly 40 years, and now that I've just turned 60, retirement is within striking distance. And when I say that, I mean like within the next few years. I want to travel. I want to spend more time with family. And like many of you, I want to know that the money I've worked so hard to make will last. And that is why I turn to Trajan Wealth. They are fiduciary advisors. They're family-owned. They are veteran-led. And that means also they are not tied to one product or service, which I appreciate. They're going to review my pension plan. Yes, I'm really fortunate. My 401k, everything else that I've been squirreling away. And they're going to show me how to maximize growth. And what I appreciate is that they listen first, and then they're going to build a plan around me. They don't do cookie cutter approaches. They're just going to offer guidance that I can trust as I head into this next chapter. To find out how they can help you, call Trajan Wealth today at 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300. Or go to TrajanWealth.com. That's Trajan, spelled Trajan. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor, paid advertisement.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
What if weight loss didn't feel like a lonely battle? What if you had a proven tool and a trusted guide by your side? At Longevity Medical Clinics, our medically supervised GLP-1 weight loss program helps you shed pounds, boost your metabolism, and feel more like yourself again. But unlike online programs that drop medication at your doorstep and disappear, we take the time to understand your body. We track your lab work, monitor your safety, and adjust your plan so your results are healthy and lasting. Because weight loss isn't one size fits all, and you deserve a program designed for your unique biology. If you're serious about losing weight and you want to do it the right way, Longevity Medical Clinic is here to help. Call Longevity Medical Clinics today at 866-86-YOUNG or visit lmclinic.com for your free health analysis. Longevity Medical Clinics. Real medicine, real monitoring, real results. Call 866-86-YOUNG or visit lmclinic.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Ooh, hey, remember those yodelers we met in the Alps? I wired them euros from the bank, and they sent me their yodels in a can.
You wired money for canned yodels? That is so dumb. Banks are slow, and they hide fees and overseas transfers and exchange rates.
Well, I don't like the sound of that.
If you're gonna send money to Europe, just use Wise. Wise is super fast and never hides fees.
Smart. You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. The U.S. Senate will vote on a bill that could reopen the government, but it is likely to fail once again. Democrats like Washington Senator Patty Murray are asking for an extension of healthcare premium tax credits. She visited Community Health in Oak Harbor yesterday.
We're so worried about whether these tax extenders will be passed or not, because it will impact their patients' health, it will impact their ability to provide health care, it will impact every single person.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Chuck Schumer doesn't like that. He doesn't like that we're trying to get Washington to work again, because he doesn't know how to operate in that kind of system. And we're certainly not going to allow the American people to be taken hostage for his political gain.
Thousands of Kaiser Permanente healthcare workers in Oregon and Southwest Washington are walking off the job this morning. They joined 45,000 workers nationwide for a 5-day strike over pay, staffing shortages, and lack of input on patient care. Kaiser Permanente tells KIRO News Radio the strike does not impact frontline staff in most of Washington is impacting staff at Kaiser Permanente Northwest in Oregon and Southwest Washington. One person was killed and at least 2 are missing in western Alaska after the remnants of a typhoon pounded remote communities. Several low-lying villages along the Bering Sea were hit hard by winds and flooding that tore some houses off their foundations. And we are feeling the Mariners' fever.
This one is going, and goodbye baseball.
Big win for the Mariners against the Blue Jays. Now on to Game 3 of the ALCS here at home. And T-Mobile Park is rolling out 4 new menu items for the American League Championship Series.
Mariners fans can dig into a Snake River chili bowl, a fried pollock sandwich, the Bigfoot barbecue platter, and a huckleberry cannoli. The items will debut for Wednesday's Game 3. They join 6 other postseason food options like the Sasquatch Sundae and, of course, claws and caviar.
That's KIRO News Radio's Nate Connors. Now let's get a look at traffic. We are still struggling from the morning commute. We'll start in Tacoma. The southbound drive on I-5 there is still struggling after a major collision snarled things up this morning near the Tacoma Dome. We've got a pretty serious backup right there from the Fife curve all the way through almost to Highway 16. Federal Way to Tacoma, as of last check, was about 35 minutes. Compare that to Federal Way to Seattle in the opposite direction, 51 minutes, which is a little bit worse than average at this time of day. Linwood to Seattle, 46 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 39 minutes on 405 northbound. 405 southbound is 34 minutes. Bothell to Bellevue. We still have some lingering collisions. And let's get a check of the lake bridges there. We did have some significant slowing, but that looks like it's cleared up on I-90 westbound. There is a little bit of slowing on 520 east and west, right around Montlake. I don't see anything blocking there. It just looks like that might be some morning commute issues. This report brought to you by Seaport Air, flyseaportair.com, introducing convenient flights between Boeing Field and Portland on Seaport Airlines with parking just steps away and no TSA lines. Visit flyseaportair.com. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Going to warm up to 59 degrees and sunny today. Clouds move in tomorrow with a high of 61. Chances for rain on Thursday. It's 47 degrees in downtown Seattle right now. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show, and we do have Chris Sullivan in here to explain why the free ride is over for those of you who drive on SR 167.
It's because the cheating should end on Monday.
Oh, no.
Should?
Cheaters?
Should.
Okay,
Well, I mean, there's
what's
still
going
going to
on?
be ways to cheat.
So how bad was the cheating?
At one point over the last 10 or so years, state numbers had it about 84%.
I'm sorry,
in other words,
what?
84% of people in the hot lane on 167 were doing so illegally because the way it was set up 17 years ago, they've been tolling 167 for 17 years. The way they started it was you would buy a good to go pass, just a little sticker pass, if you wanted to buy your way into the lane. If you were an HOV, legitimately or not, you could go into the lane and the only way you'd be stopped is if a trooper saw you. There'd be there was nothing to declare you as HOV.
Honor
so
system.
People would not buy the pass and they just drive in there for free.
Why did they wait so long?
Because they were waiting to update with the latest equipment to match what was then going to be happening, which is now happening on 405. They were waiting for the expansion of 405, the express toll lanes, and with that running now from Linwood down through Bellevue and it expanding now from Bellevue down to Renton, which should open next year, they were standardizing the system so that they waited to do that until they could use the latest equipment and then standardize it with what we have. So if you were driving from, say, Puyallup to Linwood, the same pass, the same segmented tolling, the same it would be the same. And that's why they did it. Plus, it took a while for them to get the construction money to add the HOV lane all the way down to Puyallup and then, to do some other things. So it's taken them a long time. But yeah, starting Monday, even everybody's going to need a pass in their car, even HOV people to click HOV. And if you're in that lane without a pass of any kind anymore, you're going to get charged the toll plus a $2 pay by mail. And so that should eliminate a lot of the rampant solos going into the HOV lane and driving in there illegally.
Wait, Chris. So you said that before this change, the only way that you would get caught in the HOV or hot lanes there is if a trooper saw you.
That is correct.
But aren't there a ton of people who just flip their good to go pass over to the HOV thing, and the only way to catch them is for a state trooper to see them?
That is correct. That's why I said it's still possible to cheat, but that way you have to you have to declare. And if you get caught doing that with a fake flip, you get it's a pretty sizable penalty.
How much?
It's well over $150 in the HOV lane, and it can compound the more times you do it in a certain amount of time. And of course, yes, there is no equipment out there with a heat sensor to know that you have 2+ in your car. So if you're driving with your child in a seat in the back, a state trooper might see you. You might have it flipped to HOV, and they might stop you anyway. And you're like, oh, you got a kid? Great, go. But where it's 3+ on 405 during the morning, there's no way to tell if there's someone in the back seat. That technology isn't out there. They're not using it, even if they did. So yes, you can still cheat, but now everybody who's in that lane will be paying something. Because even if, unless at some point, because you have to buy the Flex Pass, which is $15, you have to buy a sticker pass. Motorcycles even need a pass now on that.
Okay, so this is, again, starting on Monday.
Starting Monday. And the one change was it was supposed to start in Puyallup and go all the way up. Now the first place you can get into the lane is just before Highway 18. The reason that bridge strike that closed the lane in Pacific, they didn't think it would be fair to start changing the tolling system for everybody through that construction until they figure that out. And once they fix that bridge, then the entire corridor from Puyallup to Renton will go to this full Flex Pass, full tolling situation.
Oh my gosh! So how much is this expected to generate if they hadn't been paying on this for over
I don't have the dollar figure on that, but
that's crazy. And then how do you feel if you're that 13% that's been paying this whole time?
Feel like a sucker. And trust me, the people on the line will tell you. I mean, Charlie drives that every day, and people have been complaining to me for a decade or more that they just see so many people solos driving in that lane without passes. Where it's really problematic on 167, we've noticed, is people who use the HOV bypass through the ramp meters. Because you don't need a pass for anything. That is rampant, and that really gets people's road rage going on that corridor. But yeah, so that big changes. Again, the biggest one will be for carpoolers who are in there legit, because you never needed a pass before. Now you'll need a Flex Pass to declare.
All right, let's expand this out to the entire carpool problem in the state. So I know that law enforcement officers in Washington don't generally pull people over for equipment violations like, broken taillight or fuzzy dice hanging from the mirror. And that's great. I'm for that. But what about bringing back the ability to pull people over for tinted windows? Because the number of people that I see with window tints to the point where you can't tell if there's even anyone in the car. Not only is it a problem for HOV shading, but I can't tell where your eyes are. Can you see me? I can't tell.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be nice if they go back. The law's still there. I mean, you can have a certain amount of tint, but not as much as we see today.
Yeah, but if nobody's getting pulled over for it.
Exactly. You can't get pulled over for an HOV violation, but you can't get pulled over for that. No, so that's something problematic. That would help the troopers determine how many people there are actually in a car, but again, that's a Olympia decision.
Okay.
Not a Sully decision.
Okay, and then just next thing for you. So I am one of the lucky people in Snohomish County who probably pays a toll 3 times a year because I'm primarily a I-5 north-south driver, Highway 2, 522, etc. I rarely pay. How is it that portion of the state is not paying any tolls when there are so many people paying, what, thousands a year?
Yeah, well, the max is $15, and like they said, it won't hit it very often, which means they hit it every morning.
I guess what I'm asking is when are they coming? When are they coming to I-5?
Coming your way? Yeah.
Yes.
It's been talked about.
It's in the 2050 master plan for them to toll I-5 as a paperwork discussion. That's as far like a drawing board, tabletop discussion. It hasn't ever gone any further than that. It would require negotiation with the State Department, or the Federal Department of Transportation, because the money to build those HOV lanes and the freeway came with federal dollars that came with, you must have an HOV system that provides X, Y, or Z. And so there would have to be something like that, just like they would have to do on I-90. Now, and you also have to remember there are different types of tolling now. Like, for instance, what we have on 405 and what we have on 167 is congestion pricing. It's in an attempt to reduce the amount of people in that HOV lane. They're trying to price people out so the HOV lane moves like it's supposed to, which is 45 miles an hour 90% of the time, which it never does, but that's what the goal is. That's what that's pricing people out. In other cases, like 509 or the expansion of 167 or what we see on 520, those tolls go to paying for the construction. 167 and 160 and the 167 and 405, that's all about getting people out and making the price so expensive that they'll get out. Right now, we haven't found that price yet because $15 isn't doing it, and they've already talked about upping it to 18 for the max, which we told you that at one point you could. And by the way, when 405 is finished down to Renton, and we have that 50 the miles all the way from Linwood to Puyallup in one system, then they're going to start segmented destination pricing entirely, where you would pay 3 separate tolls on that ride.
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, you could pay the max 15 from Linwood to Bellevue. You could pay the max 15 from Bellevue to Renton, and you could pay the max 15 from Renton to Puyallup.
Well, to be clear, I can't, and you can't, and Ursula can't. But
no, but I mean,
very rich people
you could be paying, and if they change that to $18, your trip from Linwood to Puyallup could be $54.
That's just outrageous.
But that's all coming.
Sully, thank you.
Yeah, more. Yeah, I've got nothing but good news.
Someone wanted to know, why are you guys cheerleading this? No one's cheerleading.
No, we're just trying to tell you what's happening.
Yes.
All the information at mynorthwest.com. They're giving away some flex passes right now for free. There's a code at mynorthwest.com. Yeah, we're just reminding you, this is what's happening, and be prepared.
Yes.
Monday's going to be a change, especially for you carpoolers.
Appreciate you.
Sure.
Thanks, Sully.
Anytime.
More of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up next.
I can't wait till I get a little older.
The John Curley Show.
I get a little bit more hair in my ears.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
And I can be the really crotchety old guy that can say to people in restaurants,
"Why don't you get your kid off the phone?" You could do that now.
No, I'm not there yet. I'm getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube. Weekdays 3 to 7. And download the KIRO Newsradio app.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits, like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, "Buy low, sell high." There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Reutin, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Spike O'Neill here. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK lens gave me back the perfect vision I had up until a few years ago. Now, never need glasses again. Never developed cataracts. Been about 6 months since my RLE surgery. My vision is better than it's ever been in my life. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens, privately owned, no corporate shareholders or boardrooms. Dr. Sharp built his business on the principle of always strive to over-accomplish, never overprice. Call 425-451-2020 or go online to sharp-vision.com. That's sharp-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out. Andrew Lanier, a.k.a. Chef, is my co-host today. And coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, one of our very loyal listeners suggested that we get this state representative as a guest. And she recently wrote an editorial in the Seattle Times and admitted that she made a mistake in how she voted, and that mistake has fueled juvenile violence. So it's rare that you hear a politician admit making a mistake, so we're going to hear from her and what she thinks is a fix for this. It's a huge problem, something we talk about a lot on this show. So we'll have that coming up at 10. But right now we need to talk about what does it actually mean to be successful? And, and what does it require?
Well, according to the co-founder of an $8 billion AI company, he says it's impossible to build something great if you're just working 38 hours a week.
This notion that somehow you can achieve greatness, you can build something extraordinary by working 38 hours a week and having work-life balance, that is mind-boggling to me. It's not true in any part of life.
So that's Andrew Feldman. He's the CEO of Cerebras Systems on a 20VC podcast segment titled Why Work-Life Balance is Total BS. He said the path to build something new out of nothing isn't part-time work. It's every waking minute. And he's not the only one, of course. LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman says if founders talk about balance, they're not committed to winning. Twilio CEO Khozema Shipchandler only gives himself 8 hours on Saturdays to not think about work. Sergey Brin says 60 hours is the sweet spot for productivity. I mean, you get the idea, Ursula.
Yeah,
how much
I do.
credence do you give this? Because some people say, hey, you can still do great creative work without letting it ruin your life.
You can, but I think it is that rare person who can find that work-life balance and get to the levels that they're talking about. And they're talking about the C-suite folks. And I know that we often joke around and say, well, what did they do? They don't work nearly as hard as XYZ at a much different level of the company. But I would agree to some extent that these people, I believe that they are correct in terms of what it took for them to get where they are. But my question is, what do you deem as success? Are you successful if you don't reach the C-suite level and if you don't make CEO? Because I will tell you, as someone who has had to be taken out in a stretcher from KIRO Radio, in case anyone hasn't heard yet, and I know I beat that drum a lot, but that was my first wake-up call. Like, you know what? No one cares that I'm putting in 60 and 70 hours, except my family. Like, no one in this building cared. Okay, and I'm not trying to malign my employer. I'm just saying it was me. It was my mentality. Like, I can't be a great news director if I'm not doing everything,
committed.
Working everything, and starting in the morning, and even when I got home, and even on the weekends, and it was just nonstop, and it physically made me ill.
I think he is right to a certain extent. So if you are trying to build a great company, if you're trying to build a great product, if you have a business, it requires a lot of commitment. In my experience in the restaurant industry, it was 70 hours a week minimum, constant total dedication. But what they don't say is that is not sustainable. I think that these guys put in that work when they're building their company, maybe to get to that point. But the idea that you go all out for your entire career is a complete myth. It is one of these LinkedIn lunatic fantasies that is, I'm serious. It's just bandied about by like these VC people who are, there's this competition.
It's bandied about by the very people who are quoted in this article.
Yes. In startup world, it's true when you're creating the company. But once you've done 10 years worth of that work, you're going to either die or you're going to find some kind of balance.
Yes. It's not sustainable, but I would agree. I mean, I agree with the basic gist of what they're saying.
Yeah. Also, the whole venture capital startup ecosystem is very testosterone heavy in the I will outwork you sort of toxicity. It's not a great environment. I've been through it.
I have a son who is currently in it, and he is the 60-plus hours a week.
Yep.
And he has visions of being a CEO. I shared this article with him, and he agreed with a lot of it.
Rise and grind, bro.
Yeah, you're right, bro. But again, it's not sustainable. So, and I think that we also need to redefine what we think of as success. Not everybody needs to be a CEO.
You know what I define as a success? It's not being the CEO of a giant corporation. It's taking care of your family, being a good person in your community. Right, I have a lot more respect for moms and grandmas than I do for CEOs personally.
CJ in Bothell says, if you're working 60-plus hours a week for someone else, you are a fool. If you're building it for yourself, that's a different story. And I would agree with that. Again, to an extent. Okay, coming up, we are going to hear from that state representative who admits she made a mistake when it came to the way she voted on juvenile justice and what she wants all of us to know about that and how we can fix those mistakes. An important lesson coming up here on the Gee and Ursula Show.
The John Curley Show.
I can't wait till I get a little older, be the really crotchety old guy, getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Millions of Americans use credit cards to purchase goods every day. The Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates put the secure transactions you rely on at risk, leaving you vulnerable to hackers and foreign cybercriminals that want your data. Hackers win. You lose. Guard your card before it's too late. Tell Congress your data security is not for sale and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Cancers impact so many, but there's hope because the UW Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing ways to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Learn more at uwcvi.org about patients who received treatment 20 years ago that are healthy today. You can help by donating to fight at your local Safeway.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Steve Kathan. We're hearing from Pennsylvania's governor after the man who set fire to the governor's mansion today pleaded guilty to attempted murder and other charges. Democrat Josh Shapiro says political violence discourages people from running for office, and he's calling for more accountability.
I've carried with me this enormous sense of guilt. Guilt that doing this job that I love so much has put our children's lives at risk.
The U.S. Supreme Court's rejected Alex Jones' appeal of the $1.4 billion Sandy Hook defamation judgment against him. There's breaking news from the world of music. D'Angelo, the Grammy-winning soul singer, has died at 51. A family statement says he had cancer. Some state attorneys general claim online predators have been able to extort and exploit kids on the Roblox game platform. CBS's Jolene Kent spoke to a father who says his son became a victim.
Why sue Roblox and Discord?
Because at the end of the day, the thing they seem to care about the most is the bottom line, their profit.
Matt Kaufman is the chief safety officer at Roblox.
Our goal at Roblox is to be the safest place on the internet.
He says Roblox has rolled out over 100 new safety features this year.
Instagram's out with new restrictions that default content settings for teens to what amounts to a PG-13 movie, and only parents can change them. Larry Magid is CEO of a nonprofit that educates people on internet safety.
One of my concerns is that it automatically puts teens into these restricted categories unless their parents allow them to get out of them. And that could have a negative impact on LGBTQ youth and other marginalized young people.
Reports say Israel plans to cut aid into Gaza, accusing Hamas of violating the ceasefire with slow release of dead hostages. 4 have been turned over. 24 remain in Hamas hands. Day 14 of the government shutdown. The Office of Management and Budget says it's prepared to ride it out for as long as it takes. CBS's Michael Toscano on a new economic outlook.
The bottom line of the 50-page report is the global economy is doing better than expected, despite several challenges, mostly in trade, and that, of course, means tariffs. The big problem the IMF sees ahead is a slowdown in economic growth from 3.3% in 2024 to 3.2% this year and 3.1% in 2026.
The Dow is up 248. This is CBS News.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
At least 2 major cities in our region thinking about a crackdown on homeless encampments. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. We have cleared almost all of our blocking issues, which is absolutely fantastic. We had a rough morning. I-5 southbound in Tacoma. Let's start there. We had a major issue there by the Dome. That has cleared, and the backup has almost entirely dissipated. We do have a little bit of slowing right through, right by the Car Museum on Highway 7, but Federal Way to Tacoma Drive has gone down to 20 minutes from about 45 minutes earlier today. And we have one other blocking issue to worry about. I-90 westbound, just east of 150th in Bellevue. There's a disabled vehicle blocking the HOV lane. I'm not seeing huge impacts, but there is some slowing in that area and a little bit of slowing on the merge to and from I-90 in the eastbound and westbound direction. Federal Way to Seattle on I-5, just 45 minutes at this point in the morning. Linwood to Seattle in the southbound direction, 31 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 31 minutes. Bothell to Bellevue, 30 minutes as well. This traffic report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Tired of uneven home heating and high energy bills? The Quilt ductless heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Tacoma's camping ban is back on the table and it's sparking serious debate. KIRO 70's TV's Brooke Griffin reports.
Councilmember John Hines tells us with some shelters closing, the community buffer zones have been reduced.
I'm a firm believer that we need to provide shelter and housing for people to kind of end homelessness. At the same time, we have to keep our public spaces open and accessible to the public.
In this ordinance, if somebody is caught camping in a prohibited area, they could receive 30 days in jail. They also could get slapped with a $250 fine. They could get a combination of both of those. But the council members say that potentially they'd like to send people to therapeutic court instead.
The Everett City Council is also considering a measure designed to crack down on homeless encampments. That measure would expand a controversial law that makes it illegal to lie down, sit, or hand out food on public property unless you have a permit. In Kittitas County, an elementary school teacher has been arrested in a sting targeting internet crimes against children. On Monday, deputies took 42-year-old into custody at Lake Roosevelt Elementary, where he was working during the school holiday. Investigators say the fourth-grade teacher was communicating with a minor for immoral purposes. Disheartening news for Washington's southern resident killer whales. Scientists with the Center for Whale Research say there are only 74 left. 4 calves were born in the last year, but 3 died and 1 is missing. Researchers say the orcas can't find enough of their primary food source, the endangered Chinook salmon. Let's get your weather update from State Roofing and Exteriors. We're warming up to 59 degrees. We're going to be very sunny today, but clouds move in tomorrow. High of 61, overnight lows in the mid-40s, rain chances by Thursday. It's 49 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to all of you. It is October 14th. More importantly, we are on a roll. The Mariners play again tomorrow. They are 2-0 against the Toronto Blue Jays. We cannot say that enough because, hey, I asked it this morning. Raise your hand if you thought that we would be coming back home with 2 wins against the Blue Jays.
Crickets.
Chef?
Crickets.
She is out today. Andrew Lanier, also known as Chef, is co-hosting with me, and we have a lot to get to today, including coming up at 10:30. Can you make content on social media PG-13? And what would that even look like? So we're going to talk about that coming up. As always, we invite you to text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Some of you have texted in that either you know someone who you think is the most diehard Seattle Mariners fan, or maybe you are pitching yourself as that person. Again, we would love to have one of you join us here on the show. If not today, we'll do it tomorrow. But text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO, and make your pitch.
What's new at 10?
It is not very often that you will hear a politician actually admit that they got something wrong, but Washington State Representative Lauren Davis did. In a recent Seattle Times op-ed, she says she made a mistake supporting a law that limits how police and prosecutors could respond to certain juvenile crimes. And now she says what was meant to give kids a second chance makes it actually harder to step in early, and some teens are slipping through the cracks. She's calling for a reset, and Representative Davis joins us now on the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. It is rare to see a politician publicly admit they got something wrong. What made you decide to write this op-ed now?
It is my belief that the legislature has been moving in the wrong direction as it relates to matters pertaining to juvenile justice. This last session, there were a bevy of bills introduced, one of which nearly passed, that would have made things even worse. And we were able to block that barely. And so really trying to call attention to the fact that these new ideas that are being proposed that, by my estimation, would make things worse, actually build on layer by layer by layer all of these other bills that I also think were mistakes. And collectively, that these don't exist in a vacuum, that collectively they've contributed to a complete inability to intervene with youth who are totally self-destructing.
Okay, so I want to point out you are a Democrat in a legislature that is controlled. The governor and both branches of the legislature are governed by Democrats. And you're saying going in the wrong direction. Can you specifically say where you think the vision of creating this more compassionate system fell short?
Yeah, I mean, I think many of the policy levers that I highlighted in the op-ed, and it's not one of them on its own, but one of the levers that I pointed to was a bill from my very first legislative session where I was, not to make excuses, but again, just figuring out how to be a legislator at all, and very much voting with the caucus, voting the party line on a bill that didn't come through a committee that I even served on, that removed the ability to enforce court orders related to truancy and related to what are called at-risk youth petitions, which are often filed in cases of youth who are running away or who are skipping school, youth who are struggling with profound behavioral health challenges, and their parents are good parents, engaged parents, really want to help and can't. And specifically what the measure did is it took away the ability to use juvenile detention as a sanction for violation of those court orders. Now, I'll be the first to say that it is not my opinion that juvenile detention is the best or appropriate sanction, but the problem is that we shouldn't have removed that as an option before we built up a network of what are called crisis residential centers, which is basically an alternative that's a more therapeutic environment. But we never built out those. There are two of those in the state, one in Clallam County and one in Chelan County, and totally inaccessible by the I-5 corridor, very underutilized. And so in practice, what happened is these orders couldn't be enforced at all. A court order without an enforcement mechanism is merely a suggestion, and youth who are already demonstrating defiance and unwillingness to listen to adults in their life are not going to be compelled to comply with no stick of any kind.
Okay, so Representative Davis, I'm going to push back a little bit on that one because I have some personal experience through a friend. My best friend in high school got caught up in this status offense system. And status offenses, for those of you who aren't aware, they are things that can land you in detention strictly because of your age. So running away from home, being truant from school. My best friend was getting in fist fights with his dad, who is more than twice his size in high school. He would not show up to school sometimes because he was couch surfing at friends' houses. And so his parents reported him to the courts. They got a lawyer, and he ended up spending a not insignificant amount of time in the Denny Juvenile Justice Center. The only thing that he came out of there with was scarlet fever, learning how to play spades, and how to hotwire a car, which thankfully he did not follow through on. My point being, how does that process of sending people to detention deter them from crime in the future?
So I think I just made the point that I don't think that detention is the appropriate or best option.
Okay.
The point that I was making is that crisis residential centers, which is when the legislature was passing that bill, the rhetoric was, we will build up a statewide network of crisis residential centers and we will use those as an alternative. And the Republicans at the time in the floor debate argued that we should wait. We shouldn't, sort of remove that lever until we build up this alternative. But we didn't. We were preemptive and removed the lever and then never replaced it with anything. And so the crisis residential centers it's a non-carceral sanction, but it does provide a youth an opportunity to reset, to receive therapeutic interventions, to receive safety planning interventions, to get them reconnected with school, connected with behavioral health supports, connected with housing. If it's youth experiencing homelessness. So I think the mistake that we made is flipping the switch before we built an alternative and looking the other way.
You are listening to State Representative Lauren Davis, who recently wrote a Seattle Times op-ed in which she said that she made a mistake that supports a law by supporting a law that limits how police and prosecutors could respond to certain juvenile crimes. If you could rewrite the law today, what is the change that you would make?
Well, again, I just want to clarify, it's sort of more than one law. I think the op-ed touched on maybe 8 different pieces, and I just want to make sure that we're talking about them discreetly. And one of them very much has to do with the ability of law enforcement to engage juveniles, but not necessarily prosecutors. I think I talked about many things in the op-ed. I talked about the state's age of consent of 13 for behavioral health treatment. I wholeheartedly support the notion that a youth under the age of 18 should be able to seek substance use or mental health treatment on their own volition without a parent needing to stamp approval on their own help-seeking behavior. What's a problem is the inverse, when youth are really, really struggling and their parents cannot compel them to outpatient or inpatient care, and they just continue to spiral. And we've just lost so many kids either to suicide. We've lost them to the juvenile legal system because of the inability for parents to intervene. And so I do think there is a way to legislate with nuance such that we can empower parents to be able to get help for their children. We really, I think we've legislated to try to protect youth from bad parents, but we've ended up protecting youth from good parents.
I would agree with you that some sort of stake needs to be able to be there to compel kids to get mental health or addiction treatment. Even though I will also point out it's difficult to compel someone to participate in mental health treatment or addiction treatment if they're not ready to do so. But I want to talk about one of the most controversial laws. This was in 2021 when the legislature made it so that law enforcement cannot interview juvenile suspects, even in serious crimes, unless they have an attorney present. And you point out that it inadvertently protected offenders over victims. And I want to ask if there's ever been an audit done on what police are doing in these circumstances, because it sounds crazy. Police can't interview suspects. Well, first of all, they can if an attorney's present. But a 2022 audit found that Seattle police actually provided an attorney in only 4% of the cases, juvenile cases that they brought in. So publicly they were saying our hands are tied, we can't interview them, but privately they weren't providing the attorneys. Do you know where we're at on compliance with law enforcement getting attorneys for kids?
I can't speak to SPD specifically. I work quite a lot with law enforcement across the state, and SPD aside, there's just an incredible hesitancy. Nobody wants to get it wrong. Nobody wants to run afoul of the law. And so even in situations where it's unclear if a juvenile is a suspect or are they a witness, it's unclear, the law enforcement is erring on the side of providing counsel and not interviewing. And that's, in my experience, true pretty much across the board. And where this, is a problem, it shows up in different case types, but 2 that are most common are child molestation cases where you have a young child, let's say under 7 years old, and you have a perpetrator who is 16, 17 years old. And those cases are very difficult to prove frequently, and you'd never rely solely by any stretch on the confession. You can't prove a case based on a confession alone. But that is a really critical component typically in proving those cases. And so you end up not being able to prosecute it because the filing standards are not simply probable cause. In many counties, including King, they won't even file a case if they don't feel like they can prove to a jury of strangers every element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And so nothing proceeds. That's also true in juvenile sexual assault cases. So when someone is going to argue consent, but you can't interview the alleged perpetrator, and so you're not able to develop proof, I mean, I could tell you case after case after case. We just had the guy who escaped from SeaTac Airport. He ran from Department of Corrections, Community Corrections staff. The person who aided and abetted his escape was a 17-year-old juvenile. But again, they know it was her, but they were not able to develop a large enough case to actually bring charges against her for assisting, rendering criminal assistance. And so there's no intervention then for that juvenile.
And we
absent
certainly
absent a suspect interview.
Don't want that. I mean, and what you're talking about, and I strongly encourage people to read your op-ed because, like you said, you cover a whole bunch of different legislation that you think as a whole has made juvenile crime even worse, and a lot of kids are falling through the cracks. Some critics will say we have gone way too far toward leniency. I will say that I am among those who feel that way, but others are fearing that we're going to now overcorrect in the opposite direction. How do you, as a lawmaker, strike that balance? What do you think needs to happen?
Yeah, so I certainly am not, a proponent of locking up juveniles. I think that should be a last resort, but it has to be a resort. And so I think we need to look at graduated sanctions, and we have to make sure that it's matching the risk level of the juvenile. So the problem right now is we basically removed all early interventions, and we've even removed many of the late interventions, and so there's just no intervention. And so I think I would always prefer, for example, the crisis residential centers over a juvenile detention sanction. I would certainly advocate for measures that offer out-of-custody options as long as the youth is appropriately monitored and supported in the community. But we're not doing that. Electronic monitoring for juveniles and adults in the state of Washington is not monitored. It's electronic, but it's not monitored. And so we're not actually wrapping these kids in supports and safety at all. And so I think there's just sort of missed opportunity after missed opportunity. And I think we should think outside the box. If we want to look at restorative justice programs and mentoring programs, I wholeheartedly support that. But there have to be, when a youth is failing to engage, there have to be meaningful consequences, and we have stripped away all consequences. And so the only time we end up intervening is when the youth ends up committing a serious violent offense. And where do they go? Actual adult prison, which was the whole thing that we were trying to avoid in the first place.
Okay, we only have about another minute or so. Have your fellow Democrats been supportive of what you've? I'm imagining that they've had a chance to either read your editorial or have heard from you about this. Has there been pushback?
I have, from the colleagues that I've heard from, it's been overwhelmingly supportive.
Okay.
So far.
And what did you learn personally about this process? I mean, again, like I said, I started this whole interview with, it's not often that a politician will admit making a mistake. What have you learned personally through this?
When bills pertain to public safety and child welfare, those two policy areas specifically, I refuse to vote on bills that I don't thoroughly understand and have not thoroughly vetted, because the consequences are frequently irreversible. When we err in those particular policy areas, people die, and error is not acceptable. And the reality is we deal in a business where there's a huge volume of bills, and I can't be an expert on everything, but I read everything possible. I talk to everybody possible on any bill, particularly pertaining to public safety, because there have been multiple fatalities, not just with juveniles, but adults as well, because of policies that I supported. And I carry a tremendous amount of regret because of that. And I no longer operate as someone who votes yes, just because that's what the caucus is doing.
Wow. I would hope that people hear your message loud and clear, and people have, in positions of power like yours, have the courage to do what you did and admit, yeah, I made a mistake. State Representative Lauren Davis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, still ahead, we're going to talk about making content PG-13 on social media. What does that even look like? We'll have that and more coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
I can't wait till I get a little older.
The John Curley Show.
I get a little bit more hair in my ears.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
And I can be the really crotchety old guy that can say to people in restaurants,
"Why don't you get your kid off the phone?"
You could do that now. No, I'm not there yet. I'm getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube. Weekdays 3 to 7. And download the KIRO Newsradio app.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. When it comes to the technology that the IRS is using, they're updating systems that haven't been updated in decades. And while that might sound great for them, it's usually bad for the taxpayer who owes.
It is, and their systems, unfortunately, they're just legacy systems. If you try to make an inquiry on some things, it's like you got to know how to use programming language to find it. But they are working on updating that system, and I hope that really they do, because they'll serve us better, the taxpayer better, and get things done quicker. The other thing they're doing is AI, just like every organization. So they're already using it to some extent to put in profile of certain things that they want to look for in a taxpayer and find those people and go after them or see what's going on, why they're not getting their money.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
Spike O'Neill here. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens gave me back the perfect vision I had up until a few years ago. Now, never need glasses again. Never developed cataracts. Been about 6 months since my RLE surgery. My vision is better than it's ever been in my life. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens, privately owned, no corporate shareholders or boardrooms. Dr. Sharp built his business on the principle of always strive to over-accomplish, never overprice. Call 425-451-2020 or go online to sharp-vision.com. That's sharp-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
Open enrollment for Medicare happens every year, but for a lot of people, it's still confusing. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Don't worry, help is on the way with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit brought to you by the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Find out what's changing and learn about your options for Medicare with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Order your free copy of the Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, "Buy low, sell high." There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with 0 investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
It's always such a pleasure for me to catch up with you, Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And as I understand it, calendar year is wrapping up. There's never a better time to take care of your aches and pains. Why?
Well, it's always a great time to come see us here at IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. We'll take care of your aches and pains. We'll get you better. But particularly, Brock, at the end of the year, Most people have met their deductibles. They may have HSA, may have FSA funds. So use the opportunity to use your insurance to treat those aches and pains so you're not taking them into the new year. So you're healthy, fit, and you're excited about the new year. That's what it's all about. Here at IRG, we are so dedicated to making sure our patients really understand the insurance because it's a complex world. So when you call us, we're going to help you navigate your insurance. But I will tell everybody listening right now, if you've met your deductible, get your aches and pains treated here at IRG. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of your insurance. We'll take care of your family. We'll take care of everybody.
Clinics up and down the Puget Sound for you to go visit or see them online at irgpt.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we provide top quality windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and stay clear with low maintenance glass. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows was voted best in the Northwest. Celebrate by saving 25% off new leak armor installed windows through October. Plus enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest until 2026. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Jillian Raftery. Still no end in sight for that 14-day-old government shutdown, and the White House is continuing what the president has called Democrat-oriented layoffs.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says the Democrats have another chance to end this mess and continues to focus on Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
This is an attempt at image rehabilitation for Chuck Schumer.
But a fired federal employee stood with Democrats at a press conference saying her son asked if he could 3D print Legos and sell them.
So he could help us pay our mortgage. It was the sweetest and most heartbreaking thing he has ever said.
Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
The Senate is scheduled to vote today on a continuing resolution to reopen the government. President Donald Trump with an urgent message to Hamas. Here's CBS's Stacey Lynn at the White House.
In a post on Truth Social, the president said the job is not done and the bodies of the dead hostages have not been returned as promised. He said that step was needed to move on to the next phase of the U.S.-backed Gaza deal.
Bob Kitchen is with the International Rescue Committee trying to coordinate aid to Palestinians returning to Gaza.
From a small trickle of aid to now a stream where we actually need a torrent, an overwhelming torrent of aid. We're nowhere near that yet.
Good news for one of Washington's biggest employers. Boeing continues to ramp up production out of the pandemic and from under the shadow of 2 deadly crashes and the door plug blowout. The company delivered 160 commercial airplanes in the third quarter of the year, bringing the total to 440 jets this year. This is a vast improvement over Q3 last year when the company delivered just 116 commercial planes. The total jet deliveries at this point last year was only 291. Drivers heading south on Interstate 5 across the Ship Canal Bridge expect delays this week. WashDOT says crews will shut down lanes every night through Friday morning. Closures start at 10 p.m. and wrap up by 5 a.m. the next day. Let's get a check on your traffic, brought to you by Seattle Sports. On I-80 westbound just east of 150th Avenue Southeast, there's a disabled vehicle blocking the HOV lane. There's a little bit of slowing behind it, but not too much at this point. Volumes have really decreased. 405 northbound out of Renton, still struggling through the S-curves. That drive, Renton to Bellevue, is about 27 minutes right now. In the southbound direction, Bothell to Bellevue is 27 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, 28 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 38 minutes. And we're seeing some very tough slowing getting into Olympia. This is unusual for this time of day, so I want to note it. There is a crash at 101 and construction in Olympia, and there is slowing all the way back from 101 to about 510 right now, so just keep that in mind if you're going into the south end. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A high of 60 today. It's going to be sunny, but clouds move in tomorrow afternoon with a high of 61 and very cloudy with chances for rain on Thursday. 52 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee will be back tomorrow, but Andrew Lanier, also known as Producer Chef, is co-hosting with me, and we're talking about how to make social media safer for our teens and perhaps a PG-13 label.
Yeah, PG-13 used to be just for the movies, but now it's apparently coming to Instagram. So the app is rolling out a new policy that limits what teens can see and who they talk to, even the platform's AI chatbots. So the reason this is coming up is lawmakers have been investigating reports of bots having, shall we say, inappropriate conversations with kids. So now Meta says everything a teen sees or chats about should be no worse than what you'd find in a PG-13 movie. Okay. So maybe a little mild language and some edge, but no nudity, no explicit content, and a new limited content mode that parents can lock in for extra control. It's going to be enforced by AI, Ursula. Do you think this is a good move, going to be effective? What are your thoughts?
I think this is only a good move for Meta and Instagram to say, hey, we're trying to do something to take some of the heat off. Because realistically, if your kid's on social media, they're going to find a way around any of these things that are put in. I am a firm believer that you need to have those conversations with your kids and know that even though you try to warn them as much as possible, if they have, especially if they have a phone, they're going to get access to things that you don't want them to see. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
As a child who found his way over many fences, you know, and then they built taller fences, and you find your way over those.
Yes.
It's a losing battle when it comes to parents. You know, they can lock down devices as much as they want. But kids, if they want access to those things, they'll still find a way.
I would love to hear from parents because I realize now, and thank God, both sons have come out okay. But there were a lot of things like I talked to them about dangers on social media, but there were still things that they got caught up in that I had to, in one case, help one of my sons out of. And I just thought, I can't believe that he fell for that, even though we've had these very open conversations about what's lurking on social media. Yeah. And I'm just curious what other people do. I know that there will be some people who say, I'm just not going to give them a phone, and they're just going to have we have parental controls, et cetera, et cetera. But I think realistically, they're going to find a way around it. And I remember when my kids were young, even when there wasn't as much access to everything that there is today, I didn't know what they were doing on Snapchat. I wasn't on Snapchat.
Yeah, my parents had no clue. I guess what this story also points out to me is the continued and utter recklessness of tech companies, because what they're saying is, hey, in the race to get our AI chatbots out there, we're just going to deploy them. And then, oh my gosh, what do you know? Teens are having explicit conversations with the chatbots. Oh, we didn't think about that. No, you didn't care to think about it. In the same way that OpenAI, they just have that Sora 2, that's their video tool. They released it, and then all of a sudden they started getting copyright notifications because people are making South Park episodes and people are, you know, copying the studio style. And of course that would come up, but they always want to fix things after they're broken rather than trying to create a system that's functional in the first place.
And the whole introduction of AI and what you can pull up and get in response to prompts that you put in is mind-boggling. And I'm just curious if we can kind of do a little experiment right now, because on our show, we've been talking about AI for how long? Now, maybe it's been, 2 years?
Yeah, about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
A lot. And it all of a sudden, we're just talking about it so much. I am curious if anyone listening right now still hasn't played around with ChatGPT or really has very little interaction with AI.
Yeah.
Or like you hear it and you just tune out. I mean, text us. I'm asking you to use some technology.
I wish it could be me.
888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
I wish we didn't have to engage at all. But it's like, it's necessary.
It is necessary.
Yeah.
At this point. And I kind of worry a little bit for people who are just staying out of it, that you're going to be left behind to some degree. And to some degree, that's actually refreshing I mean, my husband still doesn't have his own Facebook page.
He uses yours, though. I mean, so he still has access.
He has access, but he can't post.
All right.
But anyway, text us because I'm curious. But we've got another story.
Yeah, speaking of PG-13 here. So America's most famous restaurant, Hooters, is hoping for a comeback. So the original founders have bought back full ownership of the brand, and they're promising a return to roots. Translation, crispier wings, shorter shorts, and the vibe's headed back to that delightfully tacky yet unrefined era of the 80s. So the deal wraps up a rocky few years of sagging sales at Hooters. They filed bankruptcy in March. Dozens of stores closed. Now, the founders hope that new ingredients, simpler menus, restaurant upgrades, and yes, the original uniforms will give sales a lift. Ursula, this is supposed to be, quote, they're pitching it as a renewed commitment to family and community. So on Instagram, that's PG-13, but Hooters says, come on, bring in the kids.
Does anything scream family more than Hooters? I mean, seriously?
Didn't you take your kids there once?
Once. I knew you were going to bring that up. And yes, we were desperate, and it was kind of nighttime, and we were in a part of L.A. that we were looking for a place to eat, and we saw a Hooters across the street. I want to say we weren't in Beverly Hills. We were in and anyway, like it was a bit of a seedier part of L.A., but they did have a Hooters, and we're like, well, it's open. They had a children's menu. They had it, and I'm going to tell you right now that I didn't think. Yeah, so they had a kids menu, and the food was decent, and we went. Now, I didn't think the uniforms that I saw there were that much different than, let's say, what I would see at a Joey's.
Right.
So we're talking
or at a beach.
Exactly. So if you're going to go to the original Hooters, now maybe they think that that's what people want.
Well,
or is that time passed?
Sex sells, period. It does.
Yeah, but it hasn't been selling.
Look at the espresso stands that we have over here in the Seattle area. I mean, I think it'll work. People have a certain amount of nostalgia if they market it right. But the whole idea that, like, this is a family-friendly and kids restaurant, I find to be silly. I'm not a prude, but I also think context is important. There's a difference between going to the beach and going to a restaurant where the express purpose is ogling. I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah.
You're clearly more progressive than I am in this regard.
I just want to say that I truly did go there for the food, and the food was good.
Yes.
That night.
Right.
That's the one and only time I've ever been to a Hooters.
Yeah, and people go to, what is it, Athena's down in Portland for the steaks. Greek restaurant that also happens to have
is that right?
Some scantily clad women.
Just like people go to the bikini baristas for the coffee.
It's so good. It's better. It tastes better that way.
Brian from Arlington says, I've seen shorts and cleavage at Buffalo Wild Wings. This is true. This is true, too. Anyway, hey, you know what I'm finding out, Chef?
What's that?
A lot of our listeners have not used AI. Okay, text
God bless you.
I know.
Wish I could be with you.
I actually think my husband's life is much more calm, that he doesn't spend a whole lot of time on social media. I don't think he misses it.
I know. I'm sure he doesn't.
Anyway,
he could get back to the flip phone, too.
Right, exactly. Okay, coming up, we do have scenarios. More of the Gee and Ursula Show next.
I can't wait till I get a little older.
The John Curley Show.
I get a little bit more hair in my ears.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
And I can be the really crotchety old guy that can say to people in restaurants,
why don't you get your kid off the phone?
You could do that now. No, I'm not there yet. I'm getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube. Weekdays 3 to 7. And download the KIRO Newsradio app.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com. Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp, owner of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp, I was amazed at how comfortable and at ease I was at my procedure in your office.
We have done a lot of these procedures. We'd like to help everyone we can, and it's something that when we're with the patient, we are just focused on that patient and getting them through it comfortably, meeting their needs and communicating effectively with them.
And you've done tens of thousands, multiple tens of thousands of these procedures.
Yeah, I personally have done over 100,000 LASIK, EVO, PRK procedures, and my partners also have done thousands of the refractive lens exchange cataract procedures. This procedure's been honed and refined, so we're always trying to push the field further to get better and better results and happier patients.
Call Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens today at 425-451-2020. Schedule a consultation or go to sharpvision.com. That's sharp with an E-vision.com.
Open enrollment for Medicare is coming up. Are you ready? Herb Weisbaum, the consumer man here. Get organized early with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Order your free copy today at insurance.wa.gov.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Time for scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
It's a modern-day dilemma from Slate this morning. I am a divorced mother with one 9-year-old son, Simon. My ex and I share custody equally, and generally we get along well. Also, conveniently, he lives 4 blocks down from where I do, so when it comes time to switch off, it's a simple walk. I'm writing this on a Sunday, and Simon was with my ex. I was expecting him to hand our son off after dinner like we usually do, so I was sleeping in a bit and taking it easy when I heard the door open, followed by footsteps. I was a bit panicked and went to see what it was, only to find out it was Simon. He'd finished his chores and came back to pick up a school project, so he just up and went over to get it. Normally, when he goes between houses, it's with one of us accompanying him. This is the first time he's made the trip on his own, and apparently with my ex's full approval. I don't know if this is a problem or not. What if something had gone wrong while he was unattended? He does have to cross a couple of streets between our homes. Am I making a mountain out of a molehill here?
Okay, so he's 9.
He's 9.
And this was the first time that he showed up on his own.
Yep.
I think what would have been better is if Dad would have said, hey, we're going to try this. I've talked to Simon about what you need to do, but I think he's ready. Or maybe had an intermediary step, like I'm going to walk him half the way and then I'm going to let him, kind of do a gradual, because at some point he should be able to just walk on his own. It is only 4 blocks away. So it sounds like they have a good relationship. So I would express my concerns and just say, wish you'd given me a heads up. I want to make sure that he's ready to do this and take this graduated step because he's getting older. But otherwise, I don't know that it's that big of a deal. Maybe I'm missing something.
No, I don't think you are. I think you were just born in an era when this was normal behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, this drives me nuts. Like the idea that a 9-year-old can't walk 4 blocks. I mean, on one hand,
I don't know what 4 blocks those are. I mean, if it's Highway 99, including one of those blocks, yeah, I'd be like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting the sense it's somewhat residential, maybe a stoplight or two.
Yeah.
But he says he got his ex's full approval. Now, I know that kids like to play the parents off each other.
Yeah.
Oh, mom said I could, dad said I could.
Yeah.
That must be exponentially worse with a divorce.
Yes.
Because you have to check all the.
Sure.
Dad said I could.
Yeah.
Because I doubt that's the case.
Yeah.
But 9-year-olds can walk. It's fine. My son is 8. Half the time in the afternoon, if my wife asks, hey, where's Matthew? I will say, I don't know. Because I don't know. I assume he's over at the neighbor's house.
Okay, I don't know that I would be okay with that answer.
Well, he's never gone anywhere else. He has permission to go over there.
I mean, I was 8 when I was almost kidnapped, so there is that.
Let's see. Were you in Edmonds or Iran at the time?
I was in Tehran, Iran, yes. This is true.
Okay.
But I also had, at 13, in Eugene, Oregon, I had a close call. I think I've shared that as well. So I understand the concern of your wife if like, hey, I have no idea where he is.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to know at 8. I'd even want to know at 13. Like, just give me a heads up. Where are you?
That's the basics.
Yeah.
Would you have different rules for girls than for boys? Because like at 13, I wouldn't think about like, oh my God, my son's going to get kidnapped or something's going to happen to him. But you said at 13, like you almost had something to happen to you.
Oh yeah.
Would you approach it differently if you had daughters?
I don't know. I mean, I talked to them about it really early.
Yeah.
I mean, my sons can tell you exactly what has happened to me ad nauseum.
Yes.
They know too well. And I think that, I mean, I don't know if I would act differently if I had girls. Like, you have one of each. What are you going to do?
I'll probably be more protective of Alice. I know, like, I have thought I'm probably more likely to help her out with a car than I would Matthew, because I never want a young woman to be reliant on somebody else for their transportation, because that can get in real sticky situations sometimes. But I don't know. I think I'd probably have the same rules, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, what do you think?
I think
4 blocks?
In this situation, he's reaching the point where I think he can walk 4 blocks on his own. I don't think it's worth making a big deal out of it. The dad did give him approval, so at this point, from now on, you might just be expecting your son to be more independent and showing up if he needs something, even if you are surprised. He's only going to be getting older from this point on, so he's going to be doing more and more on his own. So I wouldn't get into a fight about it with your ex about it. So it's kind of a thing you got to expect as he gets older.
I love that. What do you think? 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I was just going over my head, remembering the first time I actually walked home when someone didn't pick me up from school. This was actually when we were living in the Philippines, and I just remember walking home and fuming that no one picked me up. No one knew I was missing.
Oh, my God.
No one knew anything. But then when I got back home in one piece, I was like, I feel really good. I felt very independent.
I took a nap a couple weeks ago and forgot to pick up Matthew because I slept right through my alarms. And he came in the house and he was in tears. He's like, Dad, why didn't you pick me up? I was scared.
There you go. No. So there's your answer. Do you think he's ready?
He can walk home now, but he just thought like something had happened to me.
I know.
Great.
I know.
Dad of the year right here.
Janice in Federal Way texts something very important. 1 in 6 boys are victims of sexual assault. The statistics are probably higher as it is less likely to be reported. So she says, protect them in the same way, period.
Great point.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. Okay, still ahead, we will be agreeing to disagree coming up at 11:30. We are also going to ask the question, are we more of a baseball town or a football town? That's one of the things that we're going to cover coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
The John Curley Show.
And the reason I love autumn the most, and I guess that's why I love to grow pumpkins,
Weekdays 3 to 7.
is because it's nature telling you summer is over and soon it will be dark and it will be cold and there will be no light. And just before, nature says, here's a prize for you because we know you're going to go into hibernation. So here's orange and yellow and fiery colors everywhere. So this is our final gift to you.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same day or next day delivery, or order online and pick it up in store. Kills primers, pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Are you looking at senior living options for you or a loved one? If so, you likely have many questions like, what can I afford? How long will my savings last? And if I run out of money, will I have to move out? If these questions are weighing on you, I'm here to talk you through different solutions. Hi, I'm Amanda from Care Partners Senior Living. At Care Partners, we're focused on offering high-quality, compassionate care at very affordable prices to help stretch and preserve your assets. And if you ever run out of funds and need to convert to Medicaid, you won't have to move. We have vibrant communities throughout Western Washington, Spokane, and Arizona offering independent, assisted living, and memory care. Our caregivers are some of the most loving and genuine people you'll ever meet. Stretch your assets, preserve your estate, and never worry about moving. That's peace of mind in the Care Partners Living difference. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com. Care Partners is excited to announce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, Snohomish, and North Creek Bothell. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Have you stopped to think about how you feel today compared to, say, 10 years ago? Are you noticing changes? Less energy, slow recovery, trouble focusing, maybe even weight gain? What if you could turn back the clock and feel stronger, sharper, and more alive? At Longevity Medical Clinic, we help people do exactly that. For over 3 decades, we've been helping thousands of men and women find out what's really going on inside their bodies and take action to feel better and live longer. With advanced diagnostics and personalized hormone and supplement plans, we uncover what's been holding you back and show you how to optimize your health. Our patients often say, "Now I finally understand what's happening and what to do about it." Take the first step today. Call 866-86-YOUNG or visit lmclinic.com to schedule your free consultation. Longevity Medical Clinic. Feel better. Live longer. Let's do it together.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Already the Gaza peace plan is running into problems. Israel is angry over the slow return of the bodies of dead hostages. President Trump posted today the job is not done. CBS's Haley Ott is in Tel Aviv.
That number was supposed to be 28. Israel's defense minister said that the return of only 4 sets of remains was a violation of the peace agreement, and the Hostage Family Forum, which represents the hostage families, called for the suspension of the implementation of the agreement until all 28 bodies are returned.
Israel is now threatening to cut in half the number of aid trucks allowed into Gaza. Christian Carden of the International Red Cross said the aid hasn't even begun to flow in.
No, not yet. The shift has not yet happened. We are still witnessing only few trucks coming in and large crowds approaching these trucks in a way that is absolutely not conform to humanitarian standards.
President Trump says the U.S. has struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs off Venezuela, killing 6 people. A powerful storm is pounding the West Coast and creating dangerous conditions in parts of Southern California. Meteorologist Kate Bilo is tracking things.
Looking at heavy rainfall once again over recent burn scars. That leads to the risk for runoff, flooding. We also have 1 to 3 feet of snow above 6,000 feet in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And we're looking at an additional 2+ inches of rain across portions of California and extending into Colorado as well over the next 2 days.
There is another vote in the Senate later today on ending the government shutdown. It's likely to fail. As the shutdown continues, many federal workers are growing more concerned about their finances. Jonathan O'Brien reports from Atlanta there is some help on the way for airport workers.
TSA employees at Hartsfield-Jackson have been working without pay since the government shutdown started, and beginning today, they will receive meal vouchers for use at the airport's restaurants. Aaron Barker, president of the local TSA Workers Union.
It's for all concessions inside of the airport.
The vouchers are for a full meal plus a beverage. Barker says this will help alleviate a small amount of the stress that the workers are feeling.
And the deadline to file for a tax filing extension remains in place despite the shutdown. Michael Toscano reports.
The IRS is holding people who filed extensions to that October 15 deadline. An IRS spokesperson told CBS News taxpayers should continue to file deposits and pay federal income taxes as they normally would. Apparently that's the case even if you're a government worker and the government isn't paying you right now.
In a typical year, about 20 million Americans ask the IRS for a filing extension. On Wall Street at this hour, stocks are mixed. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A much-anticipated bridge reopening. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic, and we are looking so much better than we were a couple of hours ago. Very quiet on the roads. I-5 northbound and southbound still have a little bit of slowing getting into downtown Seattle. Slowing starts in the from the south around the Duwamish curve, going up into downtown and the southbound direction from about 520. So really not that much of a big deal. 405 is still a little bit slow through the S curves. It looks like there might be a collision right around 3rd Street in the southbound direction, creating about a mile of backup, but it's not that thick at this point. But other than that, we're doing great. Lake bridges are clear. I-5 all the way through Tukwila to Tacoma is clear until you get to Olympia in the southbound direction. We're still pretty slow getting into town. That collision at 101 has gone away now, but you still have a backup to about, almost the Lacey city limits at this point. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Tired of uneven home heating and high energy bills? The Quilt ductless heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. A tragic house fire in Graham claimed the lives of a married couple in their 70s. Neighbors tell KIRO 7 TV thick smoke blanketed the area near the home on Monday.
Just a lot of white, cloudy smoke, just a big pillow coming up.
As I looked and after I seen the fire trucks go by, it was more like black smoke. So that's when I realized it was probably something more than just yard debris.
A man rescued by Central Pierce Fire and Rescue died at the hospital. Later, crews found a woman who died inside the home. They are still investigating the cause of that fire. A dramatic early Saturday morning chase in Kent ended with one suspect in custody thanks to canine gambit and a Kent police officer. Around 3 a.m., a reckless driver ran away during a traffic stop with the Washington State Patrol and took off near 1st Avenue South. The suspect led straight to a backyard where the man was found hiding in the bushes. He now faces multiple charges, including DUI. The Green River Bridge on SR 169 has reopened to traffic. It's been closed for a month after damaged girders were discovered in August. The bridge is about 2 miles south of Black Diamond and is a lifeline in East King County. More than 10,000 vehicles a day use the bridge, which was built in 1932.
This one is going, and goodbye baseball.
A big win for the Mariners against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now on to Game 3 of the ALCS here at home. And T-Mobile Park is rolling out 4 new menu items for the American League Champions Series. You can find details on mynorthwest.com. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny today, high of 59. Overnight lows in the low 40s. Very chilly. It is 53 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday to all of you. It is October 14th. G is out today, but Andrew Lanier, chef, our producer, is co-producing and co-hosting with me today.
You know, I feel like I should be throwing you a curveball right now because that's what G does. But
yeah, he does.
I don't really have that kind of action on my arm. I never really developed the curve.
Okay, well, keep working on it. Keep working on it because, I love how G does those curveballs. But we're going to be talking about Mariners because we have another guest in right now. So let's get to it. But just a reminder, you can always text us. You all have been very busy about texting today. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
And I want to get right to it because we've got a friend here, Spike O'Neill from the Jake and Spike Show.
Hey, buddy.
Noon to 3. You're here because I cannot believe.
I am the curveball. Hold on. First off, Chef, I am the curveball.
I know.
I'm your chubby buddy from the bullpen.
I had to throw one right down the middle
there you
first.
go, baby. Yeah.
You are funny. Okay, bring it on. So you did not watch the game. You told me, I just asked, did you watch yesterday's game? And you said no. What is happening?
I'm a very superstitious person. First off,
you're missing out.
Do you think I don't know that? No. By the way, thank you for having me on the show. I love talking about this. I've always been a very superstitious person.
Okay.
Whether it's ladders, black cats, mirrors, you name it. I'm very numerically superstitious.
Okay.
I love Friday the 13th. I love that. By the way, I lean into that day because I'm alone on the streets.
But you don't deal with black cats.
I have found this year.
Okay.
That if I watch the Mariners, they lose. And it's played out every game this year. I went to a couple games this year. We lost one. I stayed at. I left a game, and after I left, they came back and won. And this is played out throughout the course of the postseason. If I watch the game, they lose. First game of the Detroit series, I was at my wife and I were at with some friends down on the coast. Game was on. I watched it. They lost. Sunday, I skipped. I knew what was going on. I skipped the game. They won.
Okay.
And it's played out throughout the course.
Saying.
It's played out throughout the course of the entirety of the postseason. Now, you may have heard that I ate dirt last week.
I saw that. So
Okay.
while I was in another country, I'm looking on social media and I see that you ate dirt.
Yes. Because we were in a must-win. It wasn't a must-win. It was a situation.
Well, they're all must-win.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Okay.
We're in a situation where we needed a win, and some listener had put a TikTok out, he and his girlfriend, that he ate infield dirt and the Mariners won. And I said, well, I'll do that. I'm willing to, because there was a study, a psychological study that was done about fanatics. Okay, 73% of fans of all sports. This wasn't just baseball, although baseball is the most superstitious sports. 73% of fans would give up a paycheck for their team to win it all. 49% of them would give up an organ, would donate an organ.
No.
I'm telling you, I didn't do the study.
Okay.
This is a reputable psychological study about fanatical sports fans, those who would just go further than most. 10% would lose a finger. They would give up a finger to have their team win. If you went to the text line right now, 888-973-5476, how many of you would give up a finger if you could be guaranteed the Mariners would win the World Series this year? You'd be shockingly surprised at how many people would
It's easy to say that you will, but
you get
when
to pick
it comes
the finger.
when it comes
pick
down
pinky
to it,
on your offhand,
I would also say I'd give $1 million, but when it came down to it, no, I wouldn't.
If you had it and somebody asked, would you do it?
That's another big
there
thing.
There you go. If money was no.
But I'm
flush with fingers. I'll give up a finger in a heartbeat.
Okay, Chef is also looking incredulous here, but I found out that Chef, you too have not been watching every game.
Well, no, I don't watch every pitch. I've watched, I think, two of the entire games out of all of them that have been played so far. Because, I can't handle it. Are you one of these people that walks around when you talk on the phone? Because this is me during Mariners games. I have to walk out of the room,
the anxiety,
fold some laundry, run downstairs, gotta walk the dog, check back in. But if I sit there the whole time, I'm gonna go nuts. I actually had to put headphones on, noise canceling headphones, because I was watching with Matthew for some of the time, and he was getting so down in the dumps about the umpires and the balls and strikes calls. I was losing my mind. I'm like, Matthew! Stop complaining.
right.
Doesn't mean anything.
But this is what sports does to and for a community. It really does.
And I love that.
I do too.
But I feel for you, and I guess thank you for your sacrifice, because they are winning, and now they're 2-0 going into tomorrow's game. So if that's you, part of your mojo for the team, thank you.
You betcha.
But it's almost like you're telling us you're a glutton for punishment. You eat dirt, you don't watch the games, but you'll do, and you might consider giving up a finger.
I love the baseball team in the city. I love the Mariners. I really do.
Yes.
I was raised a sports fan. It bonded my dad and I and my brother and I together. My grandpa. I remember listening to ball games in my grandpa's backyard on a transistor radio. I mean, and it's still doing that today.
Yes.
Baseball, the community of Mariner fans will build generational memories. Jake and his sons watch together, and that's their thing. So
are you watching it after the fact then?
Oh, I've watched more highlight videos.
Okay.
I tape the games, and if they win, I go back and watch.
Okay.
So
someone texted in though and said even when they were 10-3, this listener said they were scared to watch.
But when it was 10-3. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I didn't watch.
Now I'm finding out Nikki says I'm the same, Chef. Chef, I guess you guys are not alone.
No. And Spike, I actually have to defend the dirt eating because it's actually a medical condition. It's called pica. So the compulsion to eat dirt, it can be brought upon by extreme stress, right? Sometimes pregnancy. I don't think you're pregnant.
No,
but
it has
nothing to do with Spike's decision.
No. It's funny because, we did it and it worked, right? And then we had a game on in the studios because Jake needs to watch the games. That's his thing. I don't want to watch the games. That's my thing. When we lost a game, it was Game 4 against Detroit. The game's on in the studio, but I'm not watching it. We go up 3-0. I start to sneak a peek, right? And we lost. We lost the game. We went on to lose 9-3 in Game 4 against Detroit. So yesterday the game started at 2:00 during our show. And Jake wants to have the game on, and I don't want to watch the game, and I can't trust myself not to look at the TV. We came up with a solution. This is how I did the last hour of the show yesterday.
Okay, for anyone watching on YouTube,
We figured
can
out.
see. Okay.
We figured out, if I'm blindfolded, I can't watch the game. So I literally did the last hour of the show like this yesterday. And I honestly can't see the TV. Radio's an audio medium. I can do the show like this. In fact, I'm a better listener when I don't look around. I don't read. I pay attention.
So right
to my
now you have your KIRO News Radio knitted cap on all the way down to your nose.
Right, and I'm the microphone luckily is right here. I know what to do. But this
Spike, you look like an especially dumb ice goon right now because your face is covered, but it's not your mouth and your nose, it's your eyes.
I look like one of the Cosby kids at best, and that's a generational reference. You folks won't get it unless you're as old as I am.
But generally, our listeners are.
It's funny. It's the little things that fan bases do, and everybody leans into these moments. We did it for the Seahawks. We did it for the Mariners when they get on these runs. And
Brian from Arlington says, "I just like watching baseball. You all sound bonkers. Don't put me in there, Brian. I have watched every single play since they've been in the playoffs. So
it's hard to
even
watch,
when I was
though.
out of the country.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. That 15-inning thing, Aaron Granillo was like, you got to have a cardiologist on site.
Okay, and I get that. And if it's not good for your health, don't do that.
Right.
But that's the whole thing about sports.
Is the highs and the lows? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and when was the last time we've been at this position?
Never. We've never been up 2-0 in a championship series.
Exactly. Never been this close to the you-know-what. And I guess I'm not supposed to mention that.
No, it's funny. I saw Major League. I'm watching a lot of post-game last night because I isolate myself from social media. I don't want any spoilers. Yeah, I don't want any spoilers. Only when the Mariners are playing.
Did you do that with the Seahawks going into the Super Bowl?
No. I wore different clothing at that point. I had the same clothes every game. Same from socks, undergarments, pants, jersey, sweatshirt.
Oh, that was your superstition.
That was my superstition.
So you stank.
And I wrote
in essence.
I washed them.
Okay.
But I couldn't. I'd late for a game, leaving for a game because I couldn't find the right long johns.
Okay.
They were my lucky long
Does
johns.
anyone else have superstitions?
Who doesn't?
No.
See, Gene said the same thing.
No.
I get it.
The incredible hubris of superstition is the belief that the butterfly effect of you eating dirt is going to somehow influence the results of a game that's being played hundreds of miles away is ludicrous.
I know it's nuts.
Yeah.
I know it's nuts. But this is how fan bases rev themselves up. And I'll give you this. Fan bases have impacts on teams. Absolutely, right? There's home field advantage is a real thing for a real reason. When the M's won 15 innings, right, they did the salmon run a second time. You know that, right?
Yeah, Humpy.
Humpy ran on the 14th inning. Humpy runs and Humpy wins for the first time all year. But I'll give you this. They did a 7th inning stretch twice during the 15th inning game. Now, here's a fan base who's been sitting there for 5 hours.
Oh.
Right? You do a second 7th inning stretch and get the crowd singing. You do a second salmon run. That crowd is reinvigorated. And you got to know when the opposing team is the pressure of a 15th inning down bottom of the 15th starts throwing walks guys, hits guys. That pressure builds. Fans have an input on that.
It's true.
See, the reason I don't believe in superstitions is because all of my rally hats when I went to Mariners games as a kid never worked.
Oh.
Well,
okay. Wait, hold it, though.
That's abused fan syndrome, and we all suffer.
You know who believes in superstitions? Kevin in the 425 says, please, for the love of God, do not let Ursula convince Spike to watch the game.
Don't worry,
I've been waiting 52 years for this. Please stop her.
Don't worry.
You're not going to.
I'm not going to watch the
I'm
game.
not trying to change your mind.
It's not a small thing given where this team is. I mean, it was. I am doing anything to not watch the game. I went out for
if I were to invite you to a game,
I can't go
to watch.
I love you,
at
but
my
I can't.
house.
I know the kind of spreads you put out when you have people over. I know what is. Talk about a sacrifice.
You'd be missing out.
So I went to run an errand to a hardware store downtown Edmonds. Right.
Whoops.
I'm walking down the sidewalk. And it's, hey, how's it going? Mems are up 7-3. I'm like, okay. If I hear things peripherally, that's fine. I didn't seek it out. That's the deal I make with myself.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
man, you are selfless.
You know what? It's I like. This is how I'm a part of things.
Yeah.
This is how I'm vibed up for this moment.
It is so impossible to try and remain ignorant in this era.
I
got to
right?
throw my mom under the bus here. During the 15th inning game. It's like there's been one Mariner batter up in the 15th. And the way that I watch the game is there's a little bit of a delay. That's all I'll say about it. There's a little bit of a delay. Mom's upstairs and her phone goes ding. And she goes, oh, the Mariners won. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Why?
Why would you? She's like, oh, was I not supposed to say that?
Oh.
No, Mom, you're not.
Let's give them some grace. They don't
Yes.
know. Now, when you have a little bit delay, because you listen to the local broadcasters and the national chuckleheads who call our games, I will take.
That's what I'll
I will
say.
take a one-pitch delay. Okay, listening to the ball games with our guys, with Rick calling the games, rather than these these
I
idiots.
wish we could have our own broadcasters. Rick would be fantastic doing the TV commentary. Yesterday, the whole time, I found myself, and every once in a while, I'll let out an expletive.
Right.
And I found myself getting so upset because, they kept sounding like they just couldn't believe that the M's were doing so well.
They're not prepared
and
for this.
Toronto's just going to be, they just kept going on and on about Toronto. They're going to do this, and this is why.
They're the best comeback team in baseball, Toronto, this year.
Well,
they have
but
the
it
best
didn't
record.
happen.
Well, these broadcasters aren't prepared for what's coming from the Northwest.
Yeah, except you know who? A-Rod.
Yeah,
A-Rod predicted now twice that the Mariners are going to win.
Knock wood.
I know. So
He's just trying to get back in Seattle.
He's
Good
trying
graces.
to get back right with the Mariners after all these years of leaving for the Rangers.
I'm sorry.
And as for the bias with the media and for Fox Sports, there's always a West Coast bias. They always lean towards the Torontos, the Yankees, the Red Sox, everyone on the East Side because they don't know enough about the West Coast.
No,
So
they prep for hours.
They've never seen a
They prep
game.
for hours on Toronto stats.
throughout the season, they've watched
Who's this
way
guy?
more. They watched way
Raleigh?
more East Coast games.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but yet so satisfying when that 10-3 outcome was like, okay. And when you see the Toronto fans actually leaving the stadium.
The misery cam?
Oh, my word. Yes.
Did you see the montage of misery that they showed on network television?
26 seconds.
Oh, my gosh. It was magic.
Yeah, it's like those videos of the kids crying after their team loses that go viral.
Okay, I got to ask the question because I threw it out there and some people are answering on our text line. Are we more of a football town or a baseball town? What's your answer? Because that's a question being posed on mynorthwest.com.
I think the highs have been higher with the Seahawks having won us a Super Bowl.
Yes.
But the love is deeper for the Mariners. I genuinely
that's a
believe.
beautiful way to
I
put
genuinely
it.
believe the
Do
love
you
is
think
deeper
that?
because we've been so close so often. We've had such highs. 116 wins with Lou, Ichiro, Junior, Edgar. There are statues. We have had such highs, but we are the only team in baseball never to reach a World Series.
I know.
We have been to the dance, to this level of the dance twice before. We've never been here. Baseball's a football's a fling. It's a weekly fling.
Yeah.
Baseball's a long-term romance.
Well, okay, what do you think, Nick? Do you agree?
I agree. I was thinking about it too. We are ultimately a baseball town because even through the lean years for the Mariners, I mean, I'm not talking about the 80s. I'm talking about recently in the 21st century. Through the lean years, there would still be decent crowds for those special nights when we would honor, Mariners Hall of Famers. And we were getting at least like 15, 20,000 even when we weren't that good. So the fan base was still there ready to go even when we were losing. I mean, you can't expect too much when you're that bad, but in other towns, it's hard for them to crack like 10,000 sometimes. So.
I've seen crowds in cities of maybe 3,000-5,000 people.
Talk about like Oakland.
Yeah. And not just that. I mean, I've seen games in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh where you've got 3,000 to 5,000 people.
If you
sitting
compare
in a stadium.
our fan base with lean years for other teams, we do
we've
much
done
better.
okay.
We do
I mean,
much better.
just look at the Detroit stands that were half empty in the playoffs. I think we're definitively a football town, but part of that is self-inflicted injury on behalf of the Mariners.
Yeah, I think so too.
And there's actual data to support this. So 2022 George Mason study, 1,600 people in the Seattle metro area, and they found that about 32% average reported watching the Seahawks, whereas it was about 16% average watched the Mariners. Get this, though. Who do you think watches the Seahawks more, women or men?
Men.
Women.
You're right, Ursula. 33.4% of women watch compared to 29.9% of men.
So it's the tight pants.
Also,
NFL's
what
brilliant.
about Mariners? Same thing. 2% more women watch the Mariners than men.
Really?
And
No
oddly
kidding.
enough, 3% of men watch the Storm, 1.5% of women.
Again,
Really? Wait,
Yes.
where are these stats from?
George Mason University. They did a
Interesting.
national sports study.
You're kidding. I would not have guessed that.
Which is fascinating because the whole sports complex is really built around the idea that we have to get more women in. This has been a traditionally male space. Like, I
And
think
it must
they've
be
been there
working.
all along.
Yeah,
You just
okay.
haven't been paying attention to it.
Fair enough.
Wow. Well, Spike,
Yeah.
I thank you for not watching.
It's not
because whatever
easy.
you're doing is working, and
Well,
whatever
it
everyone
works
else
until
is
it
doing.
doesn't.
Because
It's only
someone
cr-
said
yeah.
their husband has not shaved his scraggly goatee.
Oh,
So
yeah.
thank you
Oh,
for putting up with that.
Playoff facial hair is a real thing. Did you see the photo of the Dave Niehaus statue with Dave Niehause's daughter?
Yeah.
Sitting next to it. Did you see that photo?
No, I have not.
I'll share it with you.
Okay.
We're going to share it with our audience today. I spoke to Greta Niehaus. She's given us her blessing to share this with the audience. We've invited her on the show.
Nice.
I hope she can make it on. So in the 15th inning of the Friday night's Game 5, it was very anxious. Everybody was pins and needles. So Greta Niehaus walked out to the outfield and sat next to her dad at that. And I may get a little.
Oh my God.
And sat next to her dad at the statue. And you can see in the background of the photo that it's 10 o'clock. It was the moment that she sat down next to her dad. I bring it up to say this: someone has put a mustache on the Dave Niehaus statue. For the Mariner postseason mustache.
Yeah, I got a picture with Dave before the game with a couple of my buddies.
The mustache
on the
is
Friday
on there,
night. Yeah,
right? Yeah. It's only weird if it doesn't work.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Right?
So thank you to her too.
Yeah.
For
the
doing
whole
that.
Niehaus family.
Whatever you all are doing, keep it up. I'll keep watching.
Yeah, I'll keep not. And if there's a game on during our show, I will blindfold myself again, and Jake can do what Jake needs to do.
And I want to say what I said earlier on Seattle's Morning News, which is thank you to all you diehard fans who have welcomed us bandwagoners.
Amen.
With open arms.
I hear you.
I love that and appreciate the no judgment.
No. Hey, there's always room on the wagon.
Yes.
Always.
So thank you. Spike, I can hear you noon to 3 with Jake.
We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you so much.
My
Appreciate
pleasure. Thanks for warming me up.
More of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
I can't wait till I get a little older.
The John Curley Show.
I get a little bit more hair in my ears.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
And I can be the really crotchety old guy that can say to people in restaurants,
Why don't you get your kid off the phone?
You could do that now.
no, I'm not there yet. I'm getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube. Weekdays 3 to 7. And download the KIRO Newsradio app.
Open enrollment for Medicare happens every year, but for a lot of people, it's still confusing. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Don't worry, help is on the way with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit brought to you by the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Find out what's changing and learn about your options for Medicare with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Order your free copy of the Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we provide top quality windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and stay clear with low maintenance glass. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows was voted best in the Northwest. Celebrate by saving 25% off new leak armor installed windows through October. Plus enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest until 2026. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Progressive's Teen Driver Discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's Teen Driver Discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them. Endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states and subject to terms and conditions.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Care Partners Senior Living is growing. Amanda here. We are very excited to introduce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, and North Creek Bothell, bringing compassionate, quality care at an affordable price, closer to more of you. Visit carepartnersliving.com today.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Just hours away from another vote to fund the federal government. It's expected to fail just like the 7 votes before it, and each side still blames the other. U.S. Senator Patty Murray of Washington said premium tax credits for health care need to be extended for a continuing resolution to get her vote.
And the uncertainty right now is just crushing them.
Most Republicans say it's a political stunt and they'll only support a clean continuing resolution. Major news organizations are refusing to sign on to new restrictions about what can be reported from the Pentagon. CBS News, KIRO News Radio's network is one of them. Eleanor Watson is the network's Pentagon reporter.
It's about signing an understanding that we will not solicit unauthorized information, even if unclassified. And that would severely limit our news gathering. So we are not signing on, and like the majority of the other outlets here, will soon have to move out.
Fox News, the New York Times, as well as conservative-leaning Newsmax are among the media outlets refusing to sign that restriction. Healthcare workers on the picket lines. Services at Kaiser Permanente in Oregon, Southwest Washington, California, and Hawaii face disruption as workers begin a 5-day strike. The union says Kaiser has failed to address critical staffing and wage concerns. Kaiser Permanente tells us the strike does not impact frontline staff in the Puget Sound region. California banning the sale of new Glock handguns.
Glock's new design allows owners to modify the guns using a small piece of plastic known as a Glock switch to turn the handguns into fully automatic weapons. Deborah Grimes lost her son when he was shot 7 times with a modified Glock in a Sacramento nightclub.
That Glock switch was a killing machine.
The new law bans the new Glocks and any other handguns with similar designs. It does not ban the sale of used Glocks. Gun store owner Eddie Ford.
There's still millions of Glocks on the streets. If criminals want them, they're going to get them.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Seattle City Attorney has sued Glock, claiming the pistols are too easy to convert. Now, let's get a check of KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
Hey, thanks, Jillian. Seattle Sports has this update. Over in Montlake, westbound 520 at Lake Washington Boulevard, roadwork blocks your left lane. It's got you in about a 1 mile bumper-to-bumper backup. We're seeing just minimal crowding in both directions of I-5 heading through downtown Seattle. Linwood to Seattle, right around 20 minutes. Over in Renton, South 405 and Northeast 44th near the VMAC, your right lane is blocked. Looks like a driver is changing a flat tire there, and you're backed up to 112th. Bellevue to Renton taking you 20 minutes. Both directions of 405 are packed through the Renton S-curves. Down in Olympia, South 5 at Highway 101, roadwork blocks the right lane there at the exit ramp. You're sitting in a 4-mile backup into Lacey. Tacoma to Olympia is up at 50 minutes. That's a 15-minute delay. And the State Route 169 Dan Evans Bridge reopened today between Black Diamond and Enumclaw. The State Route 410 White River Bridge remains closed through at least the end of the month. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunny, high of 59 today. A few more clouds tomorrow, but still mild with a high of 61. It is 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It's already 11:34 on this Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. It is time for us to agree to disagree, which is brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
Okay, we got to start with a quick one. On the topic of sports superstitions, we received what I'm going to call the question of the day on the text line from the 253. If unshaved facial hair is okay for a man, is it okay for a woman to help the Mariners win, Ursula?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. To that end, let me see if I have a little. I'm seeing if I have a little. Every once in a while, I get that one hair that grows out of a mole into my neck.
I don't think that's what they meant.
What? I feel it, and I'm not touching it.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
You know what? I'm gonna fully support that too. You know, do whatever you want. If your partner has a problem with it, they can
you mean
sleep
like
on
shave your legs? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You can do that anytime.
Yeah.
But especially
right?
now.
Who cares?
Yes.
It's fall. All right, Ursula. I'm just gonna make it. The more money you have, the meaner you are. The meaner you are. What do you think?
Is this based on what?
Well, there's research.
Oh, okay. I'm not buying it. I hate sweeping statements, and I'm gonna stay with that. I'll stay consistent with that because I know people who have a lot of money who are extremely generous.
Sure.
I will look to someone like Bill Gates, who has oodles and oodles and oodles of money. Okay. Your eyes went a little bit big, and I'll just say that he's done. I know. There are some things that I worry about when it comes to Bill Gates after Melinda Gates' interview, but I will just say in terms of what he's done for the world and his concerns about health and safety around the world, I would say he would be an example, perhaps.
All right.
Okay, why bring up this question?
The fact is, it's actually largely true. There have been multiple studies. So this one's been replicated a lot. A recent one from Finland's Academy of Science tracked drivers in luxury cars and found that they're significantly more likely to cut off other people and ignore pedestrians. There are other studies that show that higher income is correlated with lower compassion and generosity, and that pattern keeps repeating as wealth goes up. Empathy tends to go down. But you are right in a sense, because psychologists blame it on something that they call the dark triad, that is narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. So those traits can look like confidence and charm, let's say in a boardroom, which helps explain why a 15-year study found that people high in those traits were more likely to climb the corporate ladder and build wealth. There are some studies that even show that clinical psychopathy rates in executive suites are up to 3 times higher than in the general population. So it's not really money that's the villain. It's just that it kind of magnifies what's already there. And people who are high in narcissistic, psychopathic traits tend to be more avaricious.
Okay, that's a lot. Give me another term for those of us who are not And I'm a wordsmith.
more
when we say
motivated,
avaricious.
avarice. So like more motivated to want more. Right?
Okay.
They have an
Greedy.
internal sense of greed. Yes.
Okay. Here's a question for you, though. Do you think that there are a lot of assumptions made about people who have wealth?
I think there are more assumptions made about people who are poor. I think there are a lot more assumptions.
That's true, too.
You might have a negative attitude. You might think someone who has a lot of money is like snooty, but or they're out of touch, whatever. But you never hear the same moralistic complaints about rich people in the same way that, well, you know what? The reason why you're homeless is because you're morally bankrupt, and that's why you have kids out of pregnancy.
Or you spent too much on those avocado toast.
You just made crap decisions in your life, regardless of your circumstances.
But I think there are a lot of people who make assumptions about when you reach a certain level of wealth that, they had to stomp on a whole bunch of people, or they had to mistreat people, or they're heartless, or whatever. And I don't know. I'm just not willing to go down that path.
Yeah. Okay. Researchers are. All right. Personal dilemma here, Ursula. I'm looking at my phone in between the break, and it says 6 o'clock. PTA meeting. And apparently my wife wants me to go to the PTA. Is there any reason to go to a PTA meeting unless, your school is on fire? I don't know, they got rid of the light.
Is there a reason to go to a PTA meeting?
Why go to PTA? Why?
Because you want to be involved in your kid's school.
I don't want to do the bake sale.
They're not only about bake sales, Chef.
What are they about? What is so compelling and necessary about a PTA meeting?
So, how involved have you ever been in your kids' schools?
No.
There you go. That says everything.
I volunteered in the classroom a couple times.
That says everything. Because the people who are involved in PTA, I cannot thank them enough.
Really?
And I was involved in a school board when my kids were in Blanchette, and even when they were out of it, I stayed on the school board for 6 years. I say that only because, I say that because you see the things that do go into that and the care that does go into that. And you are putting in time for the better of not just your own student, but all the students. And it's always, and I always found that it was the same parents when it comes to PTA, or the ones that organize something for the teacher, or the ones who do something, or the ones who inform the rest of us as to what is going on in the classroom or things that you need to get involved with. If you never thank those people who do take that time, then I would suggest you start, because you need those people. And it's not just about the bake sales.
Well, there's the auction too. There's the trunk or treat. All of the fun activities. There's the fun run, I'm sure.
It's also when schools are underfunded, it's the PTA that comes through and tries to raise the money to help out in
I
whatever
assume it's a room
project
full of Aunt Beckys that are just all up in everyone's business. And have
206 says, maybe,
best
Chef,
ideas.
you need to go to a PTA meeting to find out what it's all about.
Maybe not.
Yes.
I prefer to remain ignorant in my assumptions. Okay, maybe not.
Kind of like what you think of everyone rich being a jerk.
I didn't say that. If you have $1 billion, though, you've screwed someone over in your life. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, coming up, we hear you and our words to live by. This is the Gee and Ursula Show.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
One thing I love about Carter Subaru is you can really feel their roots are in this community. Now, I've told you that I drive a 2016 Outback that I bought from Carter Subaru. I still remember how impressed I was by their service. That kind of care is rare, but it is a standard at Carter Subaru. And you're going to notice it on the road as well. Those Carter Subaru license plates that you see everywhere, all across Western Washington, well, that is because people trust them and they keep coming back. Our family, we are repeat customers as well. And that's because Carter Subaru gives you something that no one else can, which is the biggest Subaru selection in Washington. Over 800 vehicles ready to fit your lifestyle, whether it's commuting, camping, or hauling the kids' gear all across town. And right now, the savings are huge. For a limited time, you can get the 2025 Subaru Outback for 0.9% financing for 60 months. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 10/31/25.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Spike O'Neill here. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens gave me back the perfect vision I had up until a few years ago. Now, never need glasses again. Never develop cataracts. Been about 6 months since my RLE surgery. My vision is better than it's ever been in my life. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens, privately owned, no corporate shareholders or boardrooms. Dr. Sharp built his business on the principle of always strive to overaccomplish, never overprice. Call 425-451-2020 or go online to sharp-vision.com. That's sharp-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
And just like that, we are at the end of the Gee and Ursula Show Tuesday edition. And look who just walked in.
Hey, come on now. I missed you.
Wait, is this G or AIG?
Gee, you were in New Orleans for 2 days.
I was.
And look at that. The first thing you do, you stop in and...
I missed y'all. I miss you, Chef, Nick. You know, Nick, all you guys having fun. I miss the Mariners are getting busy, 2-0. Like they just sitting there cooking. The Mariners cooking.
And we had a listener text in and said, where's G? I tried to get you yesterday.
I was about to get a massage.
I know. I was trying to get you because she said, I wanted to hear G's take on this big, fat sports weekend that we had.
I know. Don't worry. You'll get enough of me the rest of the week. The rest of the week, I'll be back.
Okay, but what is your take on them winning both games in Toronto?
We deserve this. And you know what? I gotta bring this up because this is very important. We here in the Pacific Northwest, one thing that Doug Baldwin said on the podcast, Jackson Smith and Jigba just said on the podcast, we here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't get the love. You know,
seriously.
Nick has talked about this as well. We don't get the love. They talk about the fact that the Mariners have never been to the World Series. And sometimes in life, people just believe like, well, you know, oh, it's me. No. The Mariners deserve to be here. The Mariners deserve to win, and they're going to win. Period. That's how you got to look at life.
I love that. Now, we were talking about superstitions with Spike earlier this hour.
You mean the one that eats dirt?
Yeah. Well, you know what? If he's eating dirt and not watching the games and it's working, we said before you came in.
Yeah, thanks for your service.
Yeah,
Spike.
thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. People were upset that I was trying to convince him to start watching the games. You don't have any superstitions when it comes to the games.
Not these Mariners right now.
No.
I'm just doing the same thing I've always done. You know what I mean? Just sit back, relax, and it's nice. And I mean, you start seeing them score. Now, full transparency, I was working during the event. Down in New Orleans.
Okay.
So I look up there, right? Mariners 3-0. Oh, okay, cool. I'm working. I look down at my phone. Mariners 3-3.
Yikes.
So and I can't update the crowd down there about the score.
Right.
They don't care. Plus, they already mad about the Seahawks beating the Saints.
Gee, are you saying that Mariners fans have a scarcity mentality that we just we accept we just have this tiny lot in life,
and it's okay to be average. You feel me? It's okay to be average.
Especially greedy. Avaricious.
I heard some big words was being thrown around, Ursula. I had to come here.
Chef had to throw in a few.
But I love everything going on. And I'm so excited for Nick being in the building.
Oh, it's great, man.
It's been good. Are you going back?
Oh, I'm going to try and go maybe Thursday or Friday. We'll see.
Okay.
I'll be hanging out over
Ursula,
there.
you going to try to go?
I heard that there are some tickets, nosebleed, $300.
That's good.
I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing. I did watch while I was out of the country. I am back now. Someone said, Sue in Tacoma said, I've been out of the country too, and they've been winning. Should we be watching? Sue, it is safe to watch. If you're superstitious, it's safe to watch because I've been watching since Friday here home, and they're still winning.
Okay.
So I'm curious, though. Can we talk about World Series yet, or are we just
No.
Okay,
No. We're just gonna talk about tomorrow.
Should I dump that?
Yeah, talk about Wednesday. But no, this is super fantastic. I love everything that's going on, and I definitely got to figure out when I'm not working because I got to work Thursday. So yeah. So tomorrow might be a good day to maybe roll up in that Mariners game. Try to go do that.
I see what you're saying.
I might have to do that.
I know, but I do want to point out that you're not as much of a bandwagon fan as I am because you started the season going to the games.
Yeah, I am, but I'm still a bandwagon fan. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been to some games this year. We showed them love and been talking about the Mariners, but I mean, I'm not a Nick. I'm not little Matthew. I'm not some of you die-hard Mariners fans that's year in and year out. I'm not y'all. So shout out to all of you. Because I know the payoff for you is much better than it is for me.
So
is it fun?
You're saying that you'd be going there for the claws and caviar and taking the selfies for the Instagram?
No. I go there for the baseball.
Yeah. Well, okay. What about the question, are we a football or a baseball town? What's your answer to that? And yes, we know you work for the Seahawks.
Okay. So,
and Nikki just told me don't go to the games because don't they lose when you go to a game? Nikki? No.
We are a foot-based town.
You know what?
We're a foot-based town.
I love what Jeff and Bonnie Lake says, who, by the way, missed text messages last week. He tells me he narked on you.
That's the most Ursula answer ever.
So he said, we are a sports town. We love pro sports. Sounders, league model for attendance. Kraken, full stands. WNBA, major attendance. We are a sports town, not football or baseball. All of them.
All right, well, you better get your words to live by.
We're running late.
Okay, words to live by. I'm just going to say, go Mariners.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that.
That's
Keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy the ride, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I'd be lying if I thought we'd come home with the lead, not just winning one in Canada, but sweeping both with speed. So after getting back to take a breath from all the hype, they'll be ready for tomorrow with our fans, the louder type. And sorry that we spoiled your Thanksgiving, Blue Jays fans, but it's spooky season here now. I mean, we've got some scary plans. There are some superstitious people here, so beware of any bad luck coming your way in the next couple of days.
Ooh, I like it. And you're right. It was Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah,
right?
it was.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to do this again tomorrow. Gee, you're going to be back.
I'm back tomorrow.
Okay,
I'm back tomorrow.
So great
raring
to see
go,
you again.
Ready to go. Yep.
Yeah,
no
we'll have a lot of fun. We do have a break today. Chef, I have a break from Mariners game, so we can breathe easy.
Yeah,
Chef,
and you PTA parents can stop dunking on me now.
I know. Those PTA parents, I see you. Nick, thank you so much. And Jake and Spike are coming up next. Stay with us.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
The reason I love autumn the most.
The John Curley Show.
Soon it will be dark and it will be cold just before nature says, here's a prize for you. Here's orange and yellow and fiery colors everywhere.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
You're miracle workers.
Don't know about that.
My drain was clogged.
Right.
You came in a jiffy.
And got right to work?
Now it's clear.
It's what we do.
Like I said, you're miracle workers.
Actually, we're plumbers.
Apollo plumbers.
You want to see some real miracle workers?
Huh?
Just take a look at Seattle Children's.
Sure.
They're all hope, care, and cure.
All true.
And together, we can help them.
How so?
Your service fee?
Yeah?
Apollo Plumbing is donating it.
To benefit Seattle Children's Hospital.
We're donating all our service fees.
All month.
To help Seattle Children's provide outstanding care and support research.
And ensure no child in need is ever turned away.
That's the goal.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love the work they do at Seattle Children's.
So, I call, you come.
Apollo donates your service fee. All our service fees.
All month?
All the way to $20,000.
That's so Apollo Plumbing.
Always ready, right now.
You really are miracle workers.
Aren't we all?
Maybe so.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living, and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, in your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools to help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
KIRO FM and HD1.